You're listening to Game Day Exclusive live on Talksport. Our Premier League kickoff is upon us very shortly. It's Chelsea against Fulham. Brilliant atmosphere here in West London, the last of the summer games before we head into the international break and head into September. We were talking about Chelsea's young guns earlier, one of them being Willian Estevao. He's already looking like a serious talent, isn't he? He was the youngest player to get a Premier League assist against West Ham, 18 years and 120 days old. He's now obviously 8 days older than that. Stuart Pearce, how exciting is he in terms of the prospects for Chelsea going forward?
Well, we spoke earlier about Josh King being in the starting lineup at 18 years old. We got a young man here lining up for Chelsea, and listen, you've got the world at your feet in the Premier League at the age that he's at. He's some talent and fits in nicely with Chelsea's recruitment policy. Years ahead of him, an improvement ahead of him. So I think we'll find a little bit more about him today. The more games he plays, the more experience you gather at that age.
Absolutely right. Well, look, you can hear the atmosphere, the music at Chelsea. We know where we are. Well, look, it is a lovely summer's day, but Chelsea was stunned here on Boxing Day last season. Scrooge turned up disguised as Fulham, and they got their first win at the Bridge in 45 years that day. It was a 2-1 victory, and that is in fact the last time an away team has won here at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League. No one has done it in 2025 so far. If that doesn't set us up nicely for a full circle moment, I don't know what will. Now Chelsea have won each of their 5 Premier League games, kicking off at 12:30 on a Saturday, so the early morning seemed to suit them. Fulham have lost each of their last 4 Premier League games that are kicked off at the same time without scoring a single goal. Oof, I wonder how it's going to pan out today. We always love a London derby, and it's almost upon us, so I'm going to hand you over to our commentary team, Stuart Pearce, but first, Sam Matterface.
Thank you, Reshmin. As the deal sheets are prepared and the sporting directors engage in their final conversations with the agents, the shortest transfer of the weekend will be the 30-minute picturesque walk or 15-minute bus ride from the cottage to the bridge that the Fulham fans have to do to get here this afternoon. And what a day to do it, by the way. The torrential rain of yesterday that knocked out satellite pictures and spoilt barbecue plans has been replaced by beautiful sunshine over the most of London. Not that we can see that right now because of the pyrotechnics, leaving a haze of white smoke billowing over the playing surface, and a sulphuric smell getting right up Stuart Pearce's nose. It is not all good though, not if you're Fulham. The short trip might be nice and picturesque, but the shortened day usually doesn't work for you. The Cottagers have lost their last 4 Premier League games that kick off at 12:30 on a Saturday, and worse still, they haven't scored in any of them. Fulham have never won back-to-back games at Stamford Bridge, and whilst Chelsea have been adding to their squad left, right and centre, Fulham have picked up a backup goalie and sold one of their number 10s. Despite all that, they didn't lose to Liverpool last year. They troubled Arsenal twice. They beat Newcastle away. They've drawn with Manchester United after going a goal down, and they won here on their last visit in dramatic fashion. They love to test themselves against the big boys, Stuart Pearce, and they often perform at their best when they're playing the best, Fulham.
Yeah, they do. Listen, they're an extremely well-coached side, very well organised, and when you're that way inclined, you've got every opportunity of causing a problem to anybody. They'll really relish, I think, coming here against Chelsea today. You know, it's the big money neighbours, isn't it? And you're the underdogs. It's brilliant for them.
Well, the two teams are out in the centre circle. Blue shirts, blue shorts, white socks for Chelsea, captained today by Enzo Fernandez. Fulham have come here all in white today, shooting from left to right in the first half will be the plan. Chelsea like to shoot towards the Matthew Harding end in the second half of games. Chelsea start with Sanchez in goal. The back 4 is Malagusto, Chalobah, Tosin and Cucurella, Caicedo and Fernandez in the middle of the park. Estevao, João Pedro and Neto behind Delap in attack. Now Fulham, this is going to be interesting, Stuart, isn't it, to see how they shape up, because you and I were watching the warm-up. Leno is the goalkeeper. The back four that we saw warming up together was Castagna, Tete, Anderson and Bassi, with Bassi at left back. Sessegnon looks as if he's gone over to the left back position. It may well be a back three for Fulham, as we saw at times during the game against Manchester United, with Castagna at right wing back. Lukic and Berger will play in the middle of the park. Iwobi and King will support Rodrigo Moniz in attack. Does look like a back five as they line up to take the kick-off, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. And, you know, I would be surprised if Bassi is a left back in a four. That is for sure. He's better suited playing as one of the central defenders. And for me, yeah, that's definitely going to be a five, turning it into a three on occasion, I think.
When West London rivals Chelsea and Fulham meet, it usually ends in blue murder. But Fulham won this fixture last season, and there's always an edge to it. We're live at Stamford Bridge on Talksport, the first commentary of the weekend, Saturday lunchtimes, Premier League. You know it's Talksport. Sunday evening this week as well, we've got Aston Villa against Crystal Palace for you, 7 o'clock kickoff. We're round the grounds with Adrian today at 2:30, and we're round the grounds tomorrow 1:30. Game day live, keeping you up to date with all the big events in the sporting universe. Away to our right, Chelsea have the ball on the edge of their penalty area. It's picked up by Cucurella, and then Enzo Fernandez guides it all the way back. It's cleared away under pressure by Tosin towards the halfway line. And Josh King just put him under a little bit of pressure in that number 10 position, just shutting down and disrupting the Chelsea back line. And then they move the ball out to Iwobi over on the far side. He takes it into Chelsea territory, then travels at pace before trying to release it, stopped by Caicedo. But then it comes kindly for Berger, who switched out to Castagna, just a little bit too heavy, and it floats past him on the right edge of the penalty area and behind for a goal kick in front of the Matthew Harding stand away to our right.
Yeah, I'll be interested, Sam, to see which of the two teams influence their lineups on the others. Fulham are quite happy to sit back when Chelsea have got comfortable possession, but certainly, as we're seeing now with the goal kick, they want to go on, they want to squeeze on, and they want to get a full court sort of turnover on the ball high up the pitch.
Delap colliding with Kenny Tete and giving away a foul. Away to our left-hand side, referee Rob Jones, who's supported today by VAR Michael Salisbury, calls a halt to proceedings in the left-wing position as Chelsea look at it, the right full-back position for Fulham. And a free kick has been given 20 yards short of the penalty area. Chelsea unbeaten in 11 Premier League games here at Stamford Bridge since that Fulham game. Fulham had more possession, more shots, completed more passes, and more corners than Manchester United last week, who after an initial 25-minute burst were put on the back foot. Ball picked up by King halfway. Space out wide on the right for Castagna, who's getting high up again. Cucurella gets across and does well for Chelsea to stop him in his tracks. And Chelsea look to try and go on the counter-attack. But that was a little bit late from Sasa Lukic, who commits the first real foul of the game. And Cucurella is glancing at the assistant on this near side, Neil Davis, and suggesting that that could have been more than just a free kick.
I think we're so used to Cucurella going to ground cheaply, you know, that every time he actually does it, there's a question mark in my mind about the contact there was or wasn't. And he's back on his feet.
Are you surprised by that?
I'm not going to get drawn at this early stage.
Stuart Pearce, the England legend, is alongside us in the commentary box, and he'll be very much part of our England team this time next week, when we're at Villa Park for England against Andorra. Adam Wharton in the England squad. A couple of Chelsea players in the England squad. Reece James is in the England squad, but he's not in the Chelsea team today. He's only on the bench. 3.5 minutes gone. This is Talksport. Enzo Fernandez putting pressure on Kenny Tete. The ball bounces out and away for a throw-in on this near side. Chalobah in the England squad after being called up by Thomas Tuchel in the last international break. Back it goes to Anderson for Fulham, across to the goalkeeper Bernd Leno, into Iwobi, back to Anderson again, back to Leno once more, and then he will start motoring forward. Bernd Leno, who is making yet another appearance. I think this is his 141st consecutive appearance in goal, and under pressure from Chelsea's press just about slides the ball into Berger, but they've given it away to João Pedro. Edge of the area, left-footed shot down low to his left. He makes the save, Leno, but actually that was an incident all of Fulham's own making.
Well, Fulham have done a couple of times here the build up from the back. You know, there's a little access there between Bassi, Iwobi and Josh King, just advanced to that, and Sessegnon, that they've tried to build up on that left-hand side. First time they've done it brilliantly and had an opportunity to break. Second time Chelsea got wise to it and pressed hard.
Chelsea thrashed West Ham last Friday, but they had to overcome an early scare. Haven't quite got into their rhythm here just yet, but Tete's putting the ball out of play on this near side, and Chelsea are on the attack down the left as they look to progress into the Fulham half of the field. Cucurella comes across to take the throw-in. Delap, his big burly frame in the middle of the park, looking for his first Premier League goal in Chelsea blue. He got quite a few goals last season in Ipswich colours, 12 in fact. Here's Cucurella into Delap, right side of the area, right-footed shot, slams it into the body of the defender, and it hits Sander Berger and goes behind and away for the first corner of the game.
Yeah, Castagna gave his wicket away there, dived in cheaply. Cucurella went behind him, and I've got to say Cucurella played a brilliant reverse pass into the box. The lap got it, he's opened his body up and just didn't get the curl on the ball as well as he would have liked.
Fernandez from the corner gives it to Moises Caicedo, who almost gave it away because he was harassed by King, whose pressure on him was excellent. Very quickly out from that corner. Chelsea decided to go short and work it to the edge of the box, but they were closed off. The ball's now out of play on this near side, and it's away for a throw-in to the home team. And it's deep inside Fulham territory. 6 minutes play. This is Talksport. Chelsea 0, Fulham 0. Fulham have the ball in the centre of the park after Tosin heads it into the air. It drops to Estevao, who tries to control it, but across comes Lukic. He heads it further wide. Iwobi then works it out to the far side. It's collected by Ryan Sessegnon. A couple of steps in from the left touchline. He looks up and sees the motoring run of Iwobi, who runs into a sort of cube of 4 Chelsea blue shirts, loses the ball, and Chelsea look to try and find the space to break. But Delap gets in the way of Fernandez, gives it away. Anderson takes it on. Space for Castagna, right side. Comes back to Anderson, tries to curl it left-footed, but he doesn't get enough whip on the ball, and it goes away and out of play and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think between Castagna and Anderson, neither of them really, body language-wise, didn't show to me as though I'm going to go and get a goal for our team. They were trying to pass the ball to each other. I think Anderson should have come onto that. He had the ball at his feet. The goal started to open up. Go and unload a shot.
Oh dear, oh dear. Robert Sanchez just tried to play a ball across the face of his own goal and almost got shut out by Josh King. That high press has just unsettled Chelsea a couple of times in the opening exchanges here.
I think that's the way that the modern game's gone. If you can get your press right at the front end of the team, it's not even worth doing any attacking shape, I don't think, in training Monday to Friday. You can turn the ball over and score goals. We saw that with Tottenham last week.
Over on Talksport 2, Middlesbrough Sheffield United is underway. They've also got Ipswich Derby on Talksport 2 a little bit later on today. Currently goalless in that Middlesbrough Sheffield United game on Talksport 2. Queen's Park Rangers against Charlton, also underway just up the road from here. Stoke against West Brom is still 0-0. Stoke top of the Championship. 0-0 in League 1, the 2 games there, and the 2 games in League 2. We'll give you any updates as soon as they happen here on Talksport. João Pedro playing in the 10 today in the absence of Palmer. He is the man to watch, I think, for Chelsea. He's been involved already in 3 goals this season, central to what Chelsea will try to do, but it'll be fascinating to see how Estevao gets on as well. 2nd start in a row. He is the talk of the town around here. 18 years, 120 days. Became the youngest player to get an assist for Chelsea in the Premier League last week against West Ham, but he hasn't been able to get on the ball so far. Here is Rodrigo Muniz turning and dropping towards the centre circle. Poor header by Cucurella, but did just enough to get it back to Robert Sanchez, who was right on the white line of his penalty area when he fingered the ball back into his chest.
Yeah, it was either a really poor header or a brilliant header. The bottom line is the goalie got his mitts on it and stopped any danger. It's interesting at the moment, the two 18-year-olds on the pitch, in King and Estevao, you know, it's King that has probably got on the ball that little bit more.
Yeah, King's looked good, doesn't he, so far, and he's certainly living up to Jack Kelly's billing, who gave us a resounding review of his performances in Fulham colours. Ball forward by Cucurella, looking for Moises Caicedo, just about holds off King and works it wide towards Malagusto. Now on to Estevao, a chance for him for the first time to run at the defence. He goes past Bassi, gets to the area, plays it into the path of Malagusto. The two just weren't quite on the same wavelength, and it was just a little bit hurried in the end, and it's cleared away by the Fulham defence. 0-0 the score. We played 9 minutes. This is Talksport, live on this Saturday lunchtime at Stamford Bridge. Good noise in the stadium today. Fulham fans in fine voice away to our left-hand side. Malagusto has the ball far side. Delap had just spun and made a run in the inside right channel there, and he wasn't spotted by Gusto. And then when Gusto realised, he apologised for not spotting him. Lovely little body swivel by João Pedro, who runs centre left, then plays the ball cross field into Malagusto, who takes it down, gets to the edge of the area, pulls it back to Estevao. He's got three round him. Back to Gusto again. His left-footed cross this time too heavy over the head of João Pedro and Pedro Neto, and it floats behind and away for a goal kick away to our left. 0-0.
Yeah, even at these early stages, Sam, I mean, there's been some really good build-up play from both teams. I've got a feeling if we're going to get a goal in the game, it's going to come from a turnover of possession, because both teams have pressed particularly well when they're out of possession.
Marco Silva has built a team that is usually pretty solid with its defensive structures. They like their swift counter-attacks as well. Often lauded for a resilience first approach, but they are certainly going on the front foot whenever Chelsea have got the ball deep inside their own penalty area, and they're quick to close them down all over the pitch at the moment. 11 minutes gone. Cucurella has it on this left-hand side. Back in field it goes to Tosin Adarabioyo. Further across to Chalobah, and then Chalobah works it wide out towards the right. A step in from the touchline. Back into Chalobah again. 12 minutes gone. This is Talksport. Cucurella clipping it down the left side, looking for Delap. He gallops into the channel, but it just bounced off wrong off the pitch. And did he just pull his hamstring there?
I think it's gone. You don't pull up like that and grab your hamstring and get away with that. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, he's just rolled his shorts up and tugged at the back of his hamstring, but he might have a big problem here. Liam Delap, no, he's gone, completely gone. He's going to have to stop, and his hopes of getting a first Chelsea goal today in the Premier League, he scored at the Club World Cup, are going to end very, very early, because after just 12 minutes the play is going to have to stop, and Chelsea are going to have to make a substitution.
Yeah, as I say, he's burst into that inside left situation on two occasions now. First time clattered into Tete, second time he's had to pull up, and I think his race has run. I'll be very surprised. Seen that on many, many an occasion.
Be fascinating to see whether or not they tip to the bench and go for someone young like Tyreek George, or whether they decide to be a little bit more pragmatic. Talksport understands, bit of breaking news in the last few moments, that Alexander Isak is confident that his move to Liverpool will happen before Monday's transfer deadline. Contrary to the reports, Liverpool do not intend to pay as much as £130 million, but Talksport understands that Alexander Isak is confident now that his move to Liverpool will happen before Monday's transfer deadline. Well, that is some interesting breaking news, and just as we're watching one striker depart the scene, we might be seeing another walking into centre stage once again. Chelsea, I think, are readying Tyreek George, which might mean that George goes into one of the wing positions and Neto goes down the middle. He's played false nine before. In fact, he did so at Craven Cottage, if I remember rightly. Or it might mean that Tyreek George goes into the 10 position and Pedro goes further forward. We shall see.
Would João Pedro going to the centre forward position make more sense in your mind?
Yeah, I would have thought so. It just depends where they're going to deploy Tyreek George, because I've seen him play as a centre forward as well. And I just wonder whether or not that's where he's going now. It is. He's going up to play through the middle, which is a little bit of a surprise, really. Tall and slender, but still inexperienced and young. He's an academy graduate, just 19 years of age, 1 goal in 8 last season. Exciting talent. He's got pace and he's got the ability to run directly. 5 assists last season for Chelsea, but most of his appearances actually were coming in the Conference League. We're fascinated to see if he can make an impact on this game.
I think that's where the Conference League is worth its weight in gold for Chelsea. Certainly last year, you're giving players like George that experience to step into a Premier League level this year.
He's got a Premier League goal to his name. That Premier League goal came away at Fulham. Only get another one today. Bad news for Liam Delap, though. That's a killer for him, isn't it? A hamstring injury at this stage of the season. I mean, the good news, I suppose, is that there's 2 weeks before the next game because of the international break, but it's going to take a little while for that to heal. Ball flicked on by Rodrigo Muniz in the middle of the park. 0-0 the score, 15 minutes gone. Chelsea have had to make a change. Tyreek George on for the injured Delap, and that after just 15 minutes of the game, which will be a big disappointment for Enzo Maresca. Chalobah, deep inside his own half, tries to play it forward, gives it straight to Iwobi. Iwobi works it out towards the far side, then helps it on to Josh King. King goes down the side of the penalty area, then twists and turns and looks to try and evade the harassment being placed on him by Moises Caicedo, then goes back to halfway and kept the ball well there. 16 gone.
Once again, turnover from a good press, Sam. You know, it's worth its weight in gold if you can get that press right.
They maintain a good shape as well, don't they, Fulham?
Yeah.
Here is Caicedo trying to steer it away from King, who's a bit of a thorn in their side. He's picked the ball up again here, right side, and Cucurella has come from the wrong side. Looked like he committed a foul there, he did. That's going to be a free kick to Fulham. Wide on the right-hand side. Sasa Lukic wants to get it moving quickly. Referee won't do so. Neto's standing in front of the ball, trying to stop him from taking it quickly.
Cucurella stood in front of the ball. Lukic was on it. You've got to just play it. You're getting booked straight away if you do. You know, Cucurella's not backing off. He's a yard away trying to stop it. Play the ball. Get him booked.
Well, Rob Jones just had a word with Neto. Cucurella started the whole thing off. He's now trotted into the centre of the D, where Chelsea are holding their line as this cross is prepared to be put in by Ryan Sessegnon. More Lukic from this near touchline. So it's about halfway inside Chelsea territory. He'll drip this ball in behind that high back line. It's Lukic to take it. It's not very well delivered. In fact, it was in front of the line. A poor delivery, headed away by Cucurella. Everyone had gone beyond it, and it was a bit of a waste for Fulham. A ball played against Fernandes by Iwobi. Half-hearted claims of handball from the Fulham fans fall on deaf ears, and it's collected by Bassi, the considerable, very strong and bulky central defender at the heart of the Fulham defence. And he's a fantastic character, Calvin Bassi. Good defender, but also a really funny character. Talks to anyone. And last week got penalised for a penalty where he sort of body slammed Mason Mount. He sort of picked him up and snapped him in half and put him on the floor at a corner, and then couldn't believe why a penalty was given against him. He then did go down rather softly for the Manchester United goal, which many people thought actually was a foul for a push in the back on him, but the referee did not. Iwobi into the centre. Tyreek George takes it down, snaffled up by Lukic in the middle of the park, and that midfield's working well so far for Fulham and Marco Silva too.
I'll tell you what, I've watched close to 20 minutes of this game, and from the offset I thought this could be a comfortable Chelsea victory. I would have to change my mind on what I've seen over the first 20 minutes.
Well, Fulham always have a point to prove when they come to Chelsea, but they're always a very competitive team, whoever they're playing, Stuart. You know, we've seen them a lot over the last year or so. Here's Iwobi shooting from distance and missing the target by quite some margin, and it goes wide of Sanchez's goal to his right, and it's 0-0 after 19 minutes. One of the problems that they have had is putting the ball in the back of the net. They've got Rodrigo Muniz leading the line today, and he's usually pretty good away from home. He's got some great statistics to back that up. He's also been brilliant off the bench as well. He's been highly touted. 8 goals in 31 appearances last season. Not just in the Premier League. 11 off the bench in total in all competitions. He's a strong, physical centre forward, and he seems to have a good relationship with Josh King, who plays just off him. Chelsea have put the ball out cheaply over on the far side. Sanchez with a wayward kick, picked up by Iwobi far touchline, just on the halfway line. Plays it into Muniz. Tackled by Tosin, the former Fulham player. João Pedro works back, does brilliantly, and then turns, and Lukic commits another foul 5 yards short of the D. It's a free kick to Chelsea. Just
where Fulham are having a lot of joy here, they've got an access of, if you're looking down the pitch, Bassi, Iwobi and King, and when you've got 3 players in a line like that in a build-up, it's very difficult to get in and get marked up on them, and they're managing to get a little bit of joy in that access along sort of, maybe if you cut a swathe off the pitch anywhere 15 yards inside, along that and the inside left position.
21 gone, Talksport. This is Enzo Fernandez in the Chelsea midfield, trying to drag them further up the pitch and get them on the front foot for the first time really in the game. They haven't really tested Bernd Leno apart from one long-range effort, but Fulham have looked hungrier, looked livelier, and they've sent Josh King away, and he's racing through past Tosin into the box, chops back in onto his right foot, shoots and scores his first ever Fulham goal, and it's a terrific breakaway goal for Fulham. They lead at Stamford Bridge again, and they've thrown another spanner in the works at Chelsea. 21 minutes on the clock. Josh King scores his first goal for Fulham, and Fulham lead away at their West London neighbours by a goal to 0, and it was a terrific finish. Running clear of the Chelsea defence, chopping back in on his right and arrowing it low down to the goalkeeper's right-hand side. He was wrong-footed, so are Chelsea. Fulham lead.
I've got to say, once again, turnover of possession in the midfield area, and from that moment on, off they went, bursting through in that sort of inside left area that we just spoke about. And I've got to say, for an 18-year-old young man, that was a wonderful finish. He went through, he could have swung his left foot at it and give himself less chance. He didn't. He backed himself, cut inside, and then done the goalkeeper with the eyes. Absolutely wonderful finish. And I've got to say, the signs were there, Sam. Fulham have started this game particularly well. Checking goal for a possible foul, we're hearing. I'm not seeing that.
Trevor Chalobah had his foot stepped on by Rodrigo Muniz, who picked up the ball on the edge of the centre circle and did a sort of roundhouse trick. It was no deliberate foul there. It was just a coming together, wasn't it?
For me, yes. I mean, if you're chalking goals off for that, well, that's desperately unlucky for this young man if they're going to do that.
Oh my word, they are. He's going over to the monitor. Now, this is a controversial decision. Was that a clear and obvious error? The referee obviously didn't see it, so the VAR has drawn his attention to it, Michael Salisbury. But is this a big enough foul to rule out a goal?
For me, no. But if we're going to nibble away at little infringements like we've just seen, well,
off he goes, Rob Jones, to the monitor over on the far side. He's surrounded by Fulham players. I cannot believe they are going to chalk a terrific goal off for that level of foul. He was performing an action to turn away. He was not making a challenge. I mean, was Chalobah going to get to the ball?
It just looked to me like two players coming together to challenge for the ball in central midfield. The referee's the referee's right there as such.
I mean, Chalobah's not going to get to the ball, but does his body movement, does Rodrigo Muniz step on his foot and stop Chalobah from getting there? Let's hear what Rob Jones has got to say.
disallowed the goal. The restart with a Chelsea free kick with the new favourites.
Well, Rob Jones explaining the decision, a careless foul on the edge of the centre circle, rules out a terrific Josh King goal.
You know how I've seen that? Muniz has come in and sort of pirouetted to get the ball. He's planted his left foot, and as he spun round, to put his right foot down on the ground, the Chelsea player slid his foot underneath his foot.
Yeah.
For me, that is ludicrous. I can't accept that. And if that's the baseline that we're going to chalk goals off, you won't see a great deal of goals in the Premier League this year.
Well, the Fulham fans away to our left-hand side are furious. The ball goes up to Rodrigo Muniz. He's completely in control of the ball. He rolls his studs over the ball, attempts to twist away from Chalobah's oncoming challenge that he's not going to get the ball from Chalobah, and in doing so, in the motion of turning, he steps on the foot of Chalobah, who put his foot down close to the body of the player he was trying to prevent. A foul has been given by the referee and the VAR team, and the Fulham fans are absolutely furious about it, and I have some sympathy with them, Stuart.
Well, I've made my feelings clear on this one, on what I've just seen, and VAR's a good tool, but the word clear and obvious, for me, no.
High bar, they said, this year.
Yeah.
Threshold's got to be high. Was that high, the threshold there?
No. That was
26 gone, 0-0.
And the sad thing is, we got a young lad in the Fulham lineup who's got his first goal, and he'll be frustrated with that. But listen, the game goes on.
The game goes on, and it is 0-0. You're listening to Talksport. Here is Josh King trying to get his team back on the front foot again. And it's saved by Robert Sanchez down to his right. Now Muniz has gone down, having been whacked in the head inside the penalty area. And we have another stoppage in play. And it just actually, again, all the stoppages really sort of affect the flow of the game. Chelsea had a massive let-off there because Fulham had started the game brightly. They scored what should have been probably a legitimate goal. And now all of a sudden, they find themselves in a situation where they're level. They need to recalibrate Chelsea, otherwise they're going to find themselves with a few problems here.
Yeah, they do. Fulham have started well. They look very well organised. Chelsea find it slightly difficult to play out and play through them comfortably, and Fulham have settled into the game slightly easier.
28 gone. It's Chelsea 0, Fulham 0. You're listening to Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Leeds versus Newcastle live today. Search Now Sports. Now, we've had a good look at the challenge. I'm sure you'll see it over and over again. It's definitely one that Chris Foy will have to dissect for us on Monday morning's Men in Black podcast, which will be available from the Premier League All Access feed. He will certainly be all over that. And Trevor Chalobah absolutely relieved, I think, that foul was given in his favour. Is it going to divide opinion, or will most people be saying that's not a foul, do you think?
Every decision in football divides opinion, Sam. For me, a player's pirouetted and his opponent's come in and put his foot underneath where he's got to plant his foot. Now, you tell me whether that's a foul or not. I've seen it once, and for me, no chance. And to chalk a goal off on the back of it, really, really harsh.
Well, I don't think that's a decision that warrants a VAR intervention, Stuart. And I think if you had to make a decision on the field of play, which Rob Jones did, you say play on. VAR then has to decide whether or not that decision is a clear error by the referee in order to get involved, and the threshold is supposed to be high. I mean, everybody that I know that's texting me at the moment and getting involved in the debate, and I can see it online, everybody thinks it's a scandalous decision. Ball sent forward towards João Pedro as we get back underway here. A little bit of breaking news that we spoke to you about earlier, we told you about earlier on. I'll just remind you of it now, that Alexander Isak is confident that his move to Liverpool will happen before Monday's transfer deadline. Elsewhere, Queen's Park Rangers lead Charlton by 1-0, and West Brom are 1-up against the leaders, Stoke City. Phillips with a goal after 14 minutes. In League One, Doncaster lead Rotherham by 1-0. Rotherham only picked up 4 points from the first 4 games. Bailey with a goal after 26 minutes. And in League Two, Canavan has been sent off for Barrow at home to Fleetwood as Calvin Bassey ties himself in knots inside the penalty area because of the Chelsea press. Esteval and Caicedo causing problems for him. And Kilkenny puts Swindon 1-0 up away at the leaders of League Two, Crewe Alexandra. This is Talksport. You're up to date. We've played half an hour. The big talking point so far in this game, the decision to disallow Josh King's goal. Delap's injured. He came off with a hamstring problem. Lovely touch by Esteval. Out to the right side. Ball into the box by Pedro. Is cut out by Bernd Leno, and it bowled out into the middle of the park. And Sasa Lukic is jumping forward now at great pace. Iwobi moves forward. It goes out to the left instead, and Sessegnon joins the attack. There's a lot of space out wide for him. He up towards the edge of the box, goes to try and fire it in towards Muniz, whose shot is saved by Sanchez. I think the offside flag would have gone up anyway. It now has, but it was a bent ball with the outside of the boot into the penalty area by Sessegnon. It fell to Muniz, and Sanchez made a stunning save.
Super play there. Literally, Leno's caught the ball in his own box, fed the ball out to Lukic, and off they went. Great switch of play, ball in the box. And from literally point blank, the goalkeeper stopped it, but the linesman's flag obviously would have ruled it out.
Oh, Enzo Fernandez, what are you doing? He's kicking the ball back from the halfway line, almost straight to Rodrigo Muniz. There was a push there. And Lukic is going to get spoken to by referee Rob Jones again. He's treading all over João Pedro. What a fantastic ball into the box that was by Sessegnon. I think actually it was helped by a little deflection off Malagusto, but there was no debate over the offside that would have befallen Rodrigo Muniz. He was a yard ahead of the last defender. We're going to have a free kick here for Chelsea, another stoppage in play, and actually it's affected the rhythm of the game. All the VAR intervention, and then the Delap hamstring injury, then the head injury to Muniz, and then the little free kicks here and there. It's got a little bit scrappy, Stuart, and it hasn't really got back into its flow.
No, the rhythm got absolutely quashed with the VAR stoppage, and even worse than that, the decision of the stoppage, in my opinion. But both teams seem to be back in the groove again.
Here is João Pedro again under pressure, this time from Sander Berge, picked up by Enzo Fernandez, and then it goes back to Tosin, and then across to Chalobah out to the wide right position and onto Malagusto, who bends the ball round the corner of the Fulham defence into João Pedro, but he can't take it on, and Berge comes across and sees it out of play, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left hand side. So it's 0-0, 32.5 minutes gone. The game day phone in from 5:30 is available to disgruntled Fulham fans. 03717 2233 44. And just having a look at my producer, who's suggesting that the reports coming from everywhere are ridiculous decision. No one's quite sure why that goal was disallowed. It feels as if it's been met with universal bafflement. But it has been disallowed, and it is still goalless here, and we await the breakthrough. João Pedro trying to win it in midfield. Chelsea so far have not found their rhythm. Chelsea so far have been outworked by Fulham, and they've been unsettled by their rivals.
Yeah, they certainly have. As I say, Fulham would be absolutely delighted with the way this game has panned out so far, aside from obviously one VAR decision.
Neto back to Cucurella. You don't know what you're doing is the call from the Fulham fans to the referee, who's given a free kick against Cucurella. Now, I mean, I don't know how many fouls Lukic has to rack up before he gets a yellow card. Obviously I have a vested interest, Stuart, because it's part of our charity bet, but That's about the 5th foul he's committed so far.
Right. I'll tell you what, you keep count of Lukic's foul count and I'll keep count of Cucurella diving to the floor count, all right?
Okay, we'll do it like that.
Okay, so you think you're on 5, we're on 2 at the moment.
What, with Cucurella's diving?
Yeah.
All right, okay, fine. We'll have a versus at the end. That's another poor ball by Enzo Fernando from the left side of the centre circle. Has just lifted the ball into the right corner of the field. He's overhit it, it's gone out of play, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left. Lukic was complaining to the referee, saying that he thought that he'd been elbowed, which is why he reacted the way he did. Either way, the free kick from Enzo Fernandez was absolutely dreadful. And Chelsea haven't been great. 10 minutes to go before half-time. Chalobah away, Gusto forward towards Estevao. Back in field, it's won by Sessegnon to Iwobi. Should have played it into Lukic, knows that, apologises for not doing so, but went back to his goalkeeper. And Chelsea will have to improve in the second half. Tariq George hasn't really got into the game as the point man for Chelsea since coming on to replace Delap. There's a foul by Tosin here. Might need a new whistle at half-time. It's been blown so many times during the course of the first 45 minutes. You are listening to Talksport. Here is Bassi at the heart of the defence. Back to Anderson. Anderson across to Leno. Leno trying to funnel it forward, gives it to Bassi instead. He's been pressurised by Estevao, went right up to him and then committed a foul. It's a free kick and Rob Jones is over there again very quickly. And again, the rhythm of this game has been punctuated and stopped. Another free kick has been given.
Yeah, as you say, I think when you're giving free kicks well, that was a free kick, there's no doubt about that, but when you're stopping the game a little bit, it encourages the players to keep bending the rules slightly. And the momentum of the game dies a death, and who are the losers in that? I think the people sat in the stands watching the spectacle in some ways.
Chelsea 0, Fulham 0. Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, whatever it is, they're here for it. Here is Neto trying to bring it down. Poor, just shrugged off the ball by Kenny Tete, and Berger gallops forward. Over on the right-hand side, the ball is collected by Castagna. Good cross into the area, cleared away by Tosin, who flicked it. Despite the presence of Muniz out of the penalty area the other side, Iwobi retrieves it, runs to the edge of the box, plays it back to Sessegnon. It's given back to Bassi, who does a little turn to get him away from Fernandez. Fulham have taken the game to Chelsea here. It goes out to the left. It's played down the side of the penalty area. Sessegnon trying to get there, doesn't quite. And it goes back to Robert Sanchez, who picks the ball up right on the goal line and then runs out and sort of thrusts the ball forward into the path of Enzo Fernandez, trying to get Chelsea on the front foot. He gives the ball away again, and Chelsea lose out. Caicedo, yellow card. Challenge on Josh King. I think that might be his first foul. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, great receiving skills by Josh King there. Come out the situation. He was taken out, definite foul, but great opportunity for the referee just to play on there. Wobi's got the ball facing the Chelsea goal, with two of his teammates in front of him.
Well, if Fulham fans have had any complaints over the course of the last year or so, it is the inconsistency that sort of held them back from European qualification last year. And having got back into the games in the last couple of weeks, a few voices were disappointed they didn't go on to win them, especially last week's match with Manchester United. But they have been the aggressors in this match here across southwest London. They've had the ball in the net. It's controversially been disallowed, and Chelsea have had a real let-off. And Chelsea haven't controlled the ball well, they haven't passed the ball well, they haven't managed to get into advanced positions and create any opportunities. It's been a very poor first 38 minutes from the champions of the world, as they described themselves when they came out here earlier.
Yeah, as I say, I thought they started the game reasonably well. Maybe the Delap injury and the substitution has not helped their cause in some ways, but I'd rather give credit to Fulham and the way they played and the way they've been coached and turned out here. They made it very difficult for Chelsea.
Tariq George trying to turn past Anderson. Another whistle, another free kick. This time for Chelsea on the left-hand side. Chelsea scored a couple of goals from set pieces against West Ham on Friday night. Might think that that's the best chance of getting in front here. 39 minutes gone, just before half-time. 0-0 the score. Enzo Fernandez lining this one up. It's about 15 yards from the edge of the penalty area. It is level with the side of the box, so a chance to drift it in left-footed behind the Fulham line, which is lined up on the edge of the penalty area, right on the line of the 18-yard box.
Yeah, I think they might move this ball. I would probably move it wide, maybe for a slightly better angle than we've got at the moment.
Neto steps up, doesn't do that, chips it into the penalty area, and it goes straight into the arms of Leno, and that kind of sums up the first half for Chelsea.
It does, and that's probably why I'd have moved it out wide to get a better angle.
Josh King picks it up 2 yards in from the touchline, goes on the counter-attack. They should be listening to you, Stuart. I don't know why they're not.
No one does, my friend.
Ball forward by Anderson, thrusting the ball into the 18-yard box. So, well, luckily the Talksport audience and we listen to you. We've got him, he's ours, and he's with us today at Stamford Bridge, and he'll be with us next week at Villa Park. And you got your tickets to Serbia? You're looking forward to going to Serbia?
Yeah, Tuesday? We had wonderful times last time I went there with the under-21s, you know. Ended in an all-out riot at the end of the game.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it now, Stu.
Hopefully the hospitality will be slightly better than last time.
And we've got both the England games live for you on Talksport next week during the international break. And of course the best place to be on transfer deadline day is with Alex Crook and Jim White on Monday. Ball sent forward towards João Pedro, well defended by Fulham. Loose in midfield and Caicedo's got it. Enzo Fernandez a little bit too eager to get involved today, almost lost the ball for Chelsea when he was trying to win it there, and it breaks on halfway and it's sent forward down the right by Chalobah to Estevao. Estevao comes infield, plays it to Caicedo, edge of the box is João Pedro looking to combine with his fellow Brazilian, can't do so, goes back to Leno, and he doesn't take any chances this time and hoiks it over the halfway line, and it's out for a throw-in over on the far side. Chelsea 0, Fulham 0. The latest odds from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage right now. You can get Chelsea at 11-10 to win the game. The draw is 15-8 and Fulham are 16-5. That's all thanks to Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18+. BigGambleAware.org.
Just looking at Fulham, and I think the way they've lined up with King playing in that sort of just dropped off number 10 route, but on the left hand side more, is just causing an overload and a few problems for Chelsea.
Wonderful to see Reece James at half time. Here is Neto down the left, moving towards the edge of the area, trying to get the cross in, stopped by Castagna, goes out for a Chelsea corner, 0-0.
Yeah, Chelsea will be hoping to break the deadlock by something like this in their general build-up play. It's not been smooth, Sam, you know, so maybe, as you mentioned earlier, it is that set play that might break the deadlock.
Well, Chelsea lined up on the edge of the area. They've got lots of blue shirts lurking for the knockdown on the edge of the box. They now start to move slightly differently, and Caicedo is free at the far post. It's aiming towards the near post, flicked on by Tosin over the top of the crossbar by a whisker. Well, he flicked it at the near post, went attacking the ball. He did really well, actually, to get first contact on that. Goalkeeper was nowhere, and it went over the top of the crossbar and landed on the roof of the net.
Well, Enzo's probably his best contribution of the day, I've got to say. He chipped the ball in there. Goalkeeper, it tempted the goalkeeper out, and I just think there was a contact just slightly in front of the goalkeeper that, just looking at the replay of that now, really unlucky, just got too much on it.
3 goals from corners on Friday night, and they almost had one there. That was their best effort in the opening 43 minutes. Chelsea were riding high after thrashing West Ham 5-1. But we always just had a little concern about them, and there will be moments, I think, over the course of the season as well, where they just aren't up to the level that you require. That's because they are a young team, I think, but also because of their experiences and their efforts in the summer, where they didn't finish till the 17th of July because of the Club World Cup. That will at some point have an effect, I think.
Yeah, I wondered whether they'd hit the ground running, look really strong this early season period, and then sort of tail off slightly, maybe, you know. But whether this is the injury to Delap.
Passing the ball down the left-hand side towards King, but he's stopped from doing so by Chalobah, whose presence was excellent. And he just positioned himself at the right moment to stop the ball out. Lukic was threatening to go on the counter-attack, but again, it's another turnover of possession which led to that Fulham surge forward, and they have looked the likeliest to open the scoring. In fact, they thought they had opened the scoring after 21 minutes when King went through, chopped back in on his right foot, found the bottom corner, but somehow the VAR conspired with the referee to rule out the goal. Here is Rodrigo Muniz out towards the left, and diving to stop it again was Chalobah. Esteval rides the challenge of Sessegnon, escapes with the ball at his feet. He runs down the right side, beats Bassi, gets into the penalty area. Lovely little trick, still going Esteval, tries to centre it, but he plays it away from Anderson, and it's cleared away. And the Fulham players are saying there was a similar foul over on the far side as there was on Trevor Chalobah in the build-up to the goal. Why didn't you pull it back, referee?
Yeah, as I say, they'll be bemoaning that situation, but Esteval, fantastic coming into the box, just couldn't find a killer pass.
Certainly couldn't, and Rodrigo Muniz almost found a killer pass, which beat a very high Chelsea line there in towards Josh King. Chelsea have won it back. Caicedo to Enzo Fernandez. He's got João Pedro in front of him as we go into the first of 8 minutes of added time. That's how many stoppages we've had. João Pedro wide to the left, collected by Neto, twisting and turning and trying to play the ball forward. He's waiting now as he tries to go past Castagna, who just watched him like a cat watching a little wall ball of string, and then pinched it and cleared it away. Back with João Pedro. Offside flag is up over on the far side. We were waiting for that. And it's a free kick to Fulham. Just watching that Esteval movement once again. A terrific run down the right-hand side. A lovely bit of skill to take him past the defender. A lovely turn of pace as well. But that final ball just wasn't quite right, was it? I mean, what should he have done better in that final analysis?
Well, he had a lot of options in the box. There was 3 Chelsea players between the goalpost, and one of his teammates had just dropped off a little bit. The cut back to the drop-off is what was needed. And if you mirror that to Cucurella earlier, when he got in a similar...
Here's Josh King inside the box trying to get away from Malagusto. Malagusto nudges it beyond him and just about recovers in the nick of time. But Chelsea again looking exposed. Rodrigo Muniz looked as if he was going to have the first chance, worked it through to Josh King, and King then penetrating the Chelsea defence through the middle once again. Had to try and take the shot early but couldn't, and then Malagusto recovered at the last for Chelsea.
I was just saying earlier, Cucurella got to a similar position but pulled it back, and he should have. That is the ball. That's the money ball, I think. And once again, Josh King in behind. You know, the ball just wouldn't come and sit for him, Sam, would it? Just then.
No, it wouldn't come down for him. He wanted to take an early shot, but he just couldn't get into position before it came down. And by the time that it had dropped, it was Malagusto coming from the other side to just nudge it slightly away from Josh King, who has had a lively first 45 minutes. In fact, we've had 47 now, and we are still going to have a few more. So we've got 8 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. We played 2.5 of those. Here is Tosin Adarabioyo. By the way, we've seen a replay of the Sessegnon collision with Esteval. It's the one in the build-up to the move which the Fulham players thought was similar to the Chalobah decision. What's your viewpoint, Stuart? Was it similar?
No, I think the Fulham defender has come in and kicked the back of the Chelsea player, which forced him to go to ground. For me, not a foul.
Throw in far side, Sessegnon to take it. A lot of onus on the wide midfielders of Fulham to do a lot of work today. Largely the tactics that they've got on display have worked a treat for Marco Silva and his team. And they've ensured that they've kept 2 banks of 4 almost. They've got 3 defenders, but when they're out of possession, Fulham, they almost flex into a bit of a 4 and have 2 banks of 4 just to ensure that Chelsea have no gaps. And then when they come forward in possession, they sort of swing into a 3 with Sessegnon and Castagna, being wide, high up on the outside, causing both fullbacks a real issue. And that leaves more space for the likes of Iwobi and Josh King to cause issues in and around the penalty area, as King is doing now. He's pulled it back to Castagna. His shot is blocked by a diving Caicedo, who makes a match-saving, possibly a goal-saving, definitely, challenge inside the penalty area. Because after King got in down the right once again, he pulled it back. Castagna was there to drift it onto his left foot. He pulled the trigger and Caicedo blocked it.
I'll tell you what, Sam, I've not seen much of this young man, Josh King. He is a superstar. There's no doubt in my mind, he is a superstar. You can see his movement, how he receives the ball, how he passes it, everything about him.
No wonder they were happy to allow Andreas Pereira to go to Palmeiras. It's because they couldn't block his route into the first team.
You literally couldn't on this performance.
Ball into the box looking for Kenny Tete. Chelsea bring it clear. Malagusto is bringing it out from the back, and Chelsea now going on a rapid counter-attack, and it's 4 against 3 in blue favour. It's poked forward by Fernandes. Poor ball. He should have poked it left to Neto. He didn't. He thrust it straight at Anderson, and it's another wasted opportunity by Chelsea. Here is Caicedo on the halfway line. Foul on King. Referee says no. João Pedro tries to get beyond Anderson. Good challenge by him. Away, up to halfway by Ryan Sessegnon, who bundles his way past Chalobah. Tries to play it into the path of Iwobi. Hooked out by Gusto. And it goes out over on the far side. It hasn't been a brilliant football match because it's had so many stoppages. But there's been a lot of talking points from the first half of this game.
Yeah, there certainly has. As I say, we've had the ball in the back of the net once. It's been an intriguing game, no doubt about that. Fulham will come off at half-time thinking to themselves, A, we've been unlucky not to be in front, and secondly, we're well and truly the better team in this game.
Well, they are a little unfortunate not to be in front. And Marco Silva, who's had his fair share of issues with VARs and referees over the course of the last year or so. In fact, I think he's talked about it quite a lot, quite extensively, and there was one point last season when even some of the Fulham fans were just getting a little bit frustrated with the amount he was talking about it. The Chelsea fans getting frustrated with their team. Enzo Fernandez, one of the most expensive players in football history, over £100 million, has just picked the ball up 15 yards from the edge of his own D and hoofed it. You remember that advert that Peter Kay did? Abbott, he's just done that. Here is Caicedo, out to the right, picked up by Esteval, moves into the penalty area, tries to wriggle free, goes down, looks for a penalty, referee says no. Esteval still on the floor, asking for one. Rob Jones is just speaking to his VAR. Nothing doing at the moment as Gusto comes forward. Neto down the left now. Can he make something happen? He plays it into Cucurella, gets it back, then goes forward again. It's played towards the edge of the area, and then it's thrust in towards Chalobah. He's on the edge of the box. He shoots from distance. It's way over the top, but that's because of a deflection. It goes out for another corner.
Yeah, just giving you an update on the Cucurella going to ground 3 now. Looking for a foul. And Chelsea will be looking. Good opportunity on the last corner. They'll be looking to get first contact. Once again on this one, good opportunity right on half-time.
Yep, this will be the last act of the first half. An intriguing and debate-fueled first 45 minutes. And Rob Jones has stopped it again. We can't have the corner because he's spotted an infringement inside the penalty area, and he wants to have a chat with Tosin Adarabioyo and Sasa Lukic. And we await his authority to start again. Here is Pedro Neto placing the ball down once more, just checking over it, and then he'll take a couple of strides back. There's 4 at the back edge of the penalty area for Chelsea. Cucurella at the near post, 2 more joining from the edge now. It's in towards the near post, flicked on by Chalobah. It's loose inside the area, comes back to Caicedo, who strikes it. Tyreek George is repelled by Leno. Good save down by his near post. He was only 4 yards from the goal. He smashed it hard, but Leno made himself big and kept it out.
Well, once again, good ball in, first contact at that near post area by Chelsea, and from that moment on it was panic stations, and a good stop by Leno eventually.
Here's the corner near side, taken by Enzo Fernandez. It's headed towards João Pedro, and he glances the ball past a stranded goalkeeper who was absolutely nowhere. Chelsea get their 4th goal of the Premier League season, all of them from corners. Marco Silva's going crazy. They feel hard done by. You can understand why, but it's Chelsea who are going to lead at half-time, and João Pedro has got 5 in 5.
Well, once again, another great ball in here. Whipped it in across the face of the goal. They didn't deal with it. Pedro's just pulled off his man slightly and guided it. Unlike Tosin, who got too much on it 2 corners earlier, he's just guided it and let the pace of the ball do all the work for him. And Marco Silva's gone ballistic in the technical area. And that's hard on Fulham, I've got to say, but Chelsea have capitalised on Fulham's inability to deal with corners.
Well, Fulham are singing 1-0 to the referee. Away to our left, João Pedro is celebrating 5 goals in 5 starts. Marco Silva is moaning at the 4th official. Fulham feel hard done by. Chelsea feel very, very fortunate.
I think Leno should have done a lot better there. João Pedro's just drifted off of him about 3 yards and guided the ball in. Leno should have been coming off his line. And the ball's only 3 or 4 yards out, Sam.
Yeah, poor goalkeeping from Bernd Leno. Good header by João Pedro. Another goal for him. Chelsea getting another goal from a corner. But the whole talking point's going to be the disallowed Josh King goal from the first part of that first 45 minutes. Lots to talk about at half-time. Chelsea 1, Fulham 0.
Sam, thank you very much. Yeah, and that's exactly where I'm going to pick up. I mean, look, we'll talk about the 1-0 in a moment, but Stuart Pearce, what has football turned into? What I can't understand is that the VAR even picked up on this incident in the first place. Josh King's disallowed goal in the 21st minute. It was because of what was the referee has described as a careless challenge, which means a lack of attention or consideration when making a challenge or when a player acts without precaution. So that is what the foul was described as. Rodrigo Munez's apparent careless challenge on Chalobah. I'm sorry, but is that football? Is that not what football is all about?
Well, I would probably word the scenario in a slightly different way here. Munez was in control of the ball. He had the ball. He pirouetted and planted his foot. And the Chelsea player, Tosin, I think it was, Chalobah, planted his foot underneath where Munez is going to plant his foot. So I don't think Chalobah's had possession of the ball. Munez did.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got involved in that. I think it's really harsh on Fulham. I think they've been the better side this first half. Chelsea won't mind about that. They've got their nose in front somehow. But listen, don't get involved in situations like that. If I was guiding the referees, I would say there's not enough in that for VAR to get involved. If that's the baseline, we've got a problem.
But the fact is they did get involved, and the fact is that the referee went with the decision. So what does that tell you about the referee making the decision? Was he under pressure? Did he just feel that he had to because of that? Because surely anyone watching that will tell you that that is not a foul. And Robert Jones has gone with the VAR's call.
Yeah, well, he's still got the liberty to go over to the screens and say, I've looked again and I think my decision was correct in the first place. This is the nature of the game. Maybe there's some that would look at that and say, no, it's a definite foul. He's trod on his foot, it's a definite foul. And you know,
no one in this stadium, though, and no one that I've seen on social media is going to be saying that. And from every replay that I've seen, I cannot believe that was given. And it was really sad, actually, because we thought, you know, sometimes when you're watching when you're watching a bit of history, you know, Josh King, we thought he was scoring his first ever Fulham goal. And actually, I looked up and it was almost like in slow motion. It was such a beautiful execution. And to have that taken away for a decision like that, it screams
so
injustice.
Frustrating. It was such a brilliant goal. And I can imagine for him, 18 years of age, to score his first Fulham goal in that manner at Chelsea. Can you imagine the emotions that he was feeling inside? And the Fulham fans away to our left were celebrating. and then to think that it's been disallowed for
that. Exactly. That's the one I cannot get out of my head.
It feels ludicrous, doesn't it?
That is the sad thing in this whole scenario, really. You've got a young boy that's probably been the best player on the pitch, in my opinion, for the first 45 minutes. Got his first goal in the Fulham
keep
shirt.
watching it. It just does not make sense to me. And what doesn't make sense is the fact that this was the second... the referee didn't spot it straight away, but then looking at the replay, he then decided that it was a foul.
Yeah, as I say, for me, no. I've seen it once.
I cannot believe he made that decision.
And the more I see it, I think the big decision here is Muniz is the one in control of the ball, not the Chelsea player. I think if it was the other way round, then there's a case maybe. And
at this point, he's got his back to him, so the execution of that is on Chalobah rather than on Muniz. It makes absolutely no sense to me at all. But as you say, Chelsea are the happier side right at the end of that first half. They were incredibly unimpressive, you have to say, Stuart Pearce, throughout this first half, but there we are. This is football, and after pulling off a brilliant save actually just moments earlier, but Leno, then he did allow that goal in. Liam Delap, hamstring injury, very early on, so he has now gone off. The irony is that it's on the day that Nicholas Jackson and Christopher Nkunku have both left the club.
How often does that happen? It's incredible, really. Yeah, just second burst into the inside left position, and straight away we knew he had a big problem. It's a shame, but Georgia's come on and filled the void. They've kept João Pedro into that area. Chelsea, in their build-up, they've not offered a great deal, but they certainly have from the three corners they've had. They got first contact on all of them. And to be fair, that looks their best route to goal. I mean, they've scored a couple at West Ham, as we mentioned earlier, and now today has got their nose in front.
They do have their noses in front, but I'm sure it is, the talk post-match everywhere will be around that VAR decision which cancelled out Josh King's earlier goal, his first ever goal, what would have been for Fulham. You can hear all the discussions across Talksport and on the Men in Black podcast with Sam as well. And don't forget that Jeff Stelling and Ali McCoist will be back on Talksport Breakfast from Monday at 6 a.m. and they'll be reacting to all the big stories in the Premier League this weekend as well, including, of course, Liverpool against Arsenal, which is tomorrow at 4:30, and Aston Villa against Crystal Palace at 7 p.m. tomorrow, which is live and exclusive on Talksport. So much football across for you over the weekend, but here at Stamford Bridge it's currently Chelsea 1, Fulham 0. The second half is up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Football is back and it's game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game, cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
At Betfair, we believe that to play different, you need the right tools. The boots, the world-class tactics, the science-backed nutrition. The pros have their tools, and with Betfair, so do you. Our safer gambling tools work just like the right pair of boots, designed to keep you on top of your game. Open the Betfair app to equip yourself so you can bet at your best. Betfair. Play different.
18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
Summer fashion announcement. Stripes are in, darling. Oh, and also florals. Groundbreaking, we know. Pastels and block colors too. Basically, you choose. From breathable floral duvet sets to modular wardrobes and stripy blockout blinds, IKEA has hundreds of new summer products to let summer in. Fabulous! Visit IKEA online or in store. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in as little as 20 minutes. You've finally found that perfect parking spot and you're ready to start work. But wait, you need a replacement part that's not in your van. Don't sweat it and don't move the van. Get moving on your job and we'll sprint over with exactly what you need before you can say, where's my spirit level? Screwfix Sprint delivers in as little as 20 minutes. Only $4.99 and only on the app. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there. His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result. Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
You've reached the final level. The Spicy McNuggets side mission. Maximum flavour, crispy crunch, and a spicy dip with a kick. Are you ready? Spicy McNuggets, for a limited time only. Until the 9th of September 25. Fees apply to delivery. Participation and price may vary. Subject to availability. Serving times apply.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games flexibly with Now. Like Leeds United versus Newcastle live today. Search Now Sports 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Award-winning live football commentary. Game day exclusive. Talksport.
Hello everybody, it's half-time in our 12:30 live and exclusive Premier League kickoff here on Talksport. It is currently Chelsea 1, Fulham 0. A very, very controversial VAR decision which wiped out Josh King's first ever goal for Fulham, what would have been his first ever goal for Fulham in the 21st minute. Very controversial VAR call. That will be discussed, I'm sure, throughout the course of the day and the entire weekend, in fact. Over on Talksport 2, of course, don't forget we have your championship commentary for you, where it's currently Middlesbrough 0, Sheffield United 0 at half-time. Elsewhere in the second tier, it's Stoke City 0, West Brom 1 and QPR 1, Charlton 0. In League 2, Cardiff are leading by 2-0 against Plymouth at home. Doncaster are a goal up against Rotherham at home, and in League 2 it's Barrow 0, Fleetwood 1 and Crewe 0, Swindon 3. It's time now though to get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of TalkSport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on TalkSport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Sam Rossbottom joins us from Betfair. Sam, wow, I'm sure the odds have changed slightly. I mean, they've probably been yo-yoing, have they?
Well, I'm going to channel my inner Mourinho when it comes to this VAR debacle and say, if I speak, I'm in big trouble.
Yes, indeed. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Look,
very
obviously the odds. Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? I mean, can you remember a few years ago when VAR was coming in and we were all saying, oh, it's going to take away the big talking points and discussions, we're going to have nothing to talk about if all the decisions are being made correctly. Well, how wrong we were, eh?
Yeah, indeed.
Look, obviously Fulham were looking very, very positive, had that goal ruled out. Chelsea went on and scored. Chelsea in the driving seat in terms of the betting market now. They're as short as 1-4 to win this. However, could be a little bit of value in the draw at 4-1, considering how Fulham played in that first half. Or if you do think they can turn this around and win at Stamford Bridge, they're as big as 12-1 at the minute. Obviously we've got our charity bet builder, which is looking pretty good.
It's looking fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Sasa Lukic, he committed 4 fouls in that first half. I don't know how he hasn't been shown a card yet. He's currently 11-10 to be shown a card in the second half. And looking at Josh King as well, obviously he had the ball in the back of the net, brilliant goal ruled out. He's 15-2 to score in the second half. Our charity bet builder, like I said, looking pretty good. João Pedro to score, that's come in. We also backed Chelsea to win, which, thanks to VAR, that's looking pretty good so far. Sasa Lukic to be booked made up our 3 selections in the bet builder. We backed that at just a bit bigger than 7-1, so our £50 charity stake will return £413 if those other 2 legs come in. At the minute, as things stand, we can cash out for £126, or we can let it ride.
Sam, you going to let it ride or are you going to cash out? What you thinking?
Oh.
So tempting, isn't it?
After that first half performance.
Yeah.
I don't think Chelsea are going to win anymore. No, look, they're 1-0 up. João Pedro scored. Lukic should have been booked already. So we should already have a bigger cash out than that. I'll tell you what I'll do, Sam. If Lukic gets booked in the first 15 minutes of the second half, I'll cash out if Chelsea is still ahead.
There we go. I'll keep up to date with things and let you know how we get on, and fingers crossed we can cash out for a tidy profit.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much, Sam Rossbottom. As always, that odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only, conditions apply. Go to begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sum from Betfair. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Now, Adrian Durham will be leading you through all the goals as they go in the Premier League and EFL with Game Day Live. That's after we finish up here at Stamford Bridge. But joining us now is one of Game Day Live's team, Talksport's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. He is at Tottenham for Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I should say, for Spurs against Bournemouth. Hi there, Crookie. We're going to talk about that game in a second, but I want to ask you about Alexander Isak with the new signing that Newcastle have made for Nick Votamade from Stuttgart. Is it paving the way now for Alexander Isak? Are we a bit closer?
Good afternoon from a gloriously sunny Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think that signing will give Liverpool encouragement that a deal for Isak can still be done. I think ideally Newcastle would like to sign a second striker between now and 7 o'clock on Monday when the window closes. I reported yesterday that actually they've not given up on Jurgen Strand-Larsen, despite the fact they've just broken their transfer record to sign a new number 9. They would still like to get that deal done. There's a possibility they can still prize Johan Wissa away from Brentford, although that looks less likely because Max Bayer at Borussia Dortmund has rejected a move to the B. So many moving parts. What I can tell you is that there's been a figure of £130 million touted for Isak. Liverpool, I'm told, will not go anywhere near that number.
Oh, so much still to happen. Alex, we were going to talk to you about Spurs Bournemouth, but we'll leave that for now because the game has kicked off here. Don't forget, Alex will be across everything on Monday as the transfer window slams shut at 7 p.m. There's a deadline day special as well. Make sure you listen throughout the course of the day, but here the second half has kicked off, so I'm going to hand you back to Stuart Pearce. But first, Sam Matterface.
And we are underway in the second half at Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea lead by 1-0, somewhat fortuitously. And the goal coming on the stroke of half-time from João Pedro. The ball in play time from the 53 minutes that we had was just 25 minutes and 57 seconds, which should probably give you an indication of what the first half was like. Let's hope it's a little bit more flowing in the second 45. Chelsea in blue shirts, blue shorts and white socks will want to improve, but they haven't changed their personnel as they shoot from left to right towards the Matthew Harding stand away to our right in this sort of higgledy-piggledy stadium of two really big, huge stands either side of the pitch, with the ends small and diminutive, two-tiered. The Chelsea fans banked up away to our right, and the Fulham fans away to our left in the shed end, the old shed end, which is now converted into a two-tier stand. And they have been the loudest in the first 45 minutes, scorned by the decision to disallow Josh King's goal. Here is Sessegnon sending it forward, won by Caicedo. Chelsea attacking the goal away to our right, have Sanchez in goal, made a good save in that first half from an offside shot from Rodrigo Muniz. Gusto, Chalobah, Tosin and Cucurella. Caicedo's been booked. Fernandes has had a tough start to the game alongside him in midfield. It's Esteval and Neto on the flanks, with João Pedro behind Tyreek George in attack, and he's struggled to get into the game since coming in for the injured Delap. Fulham, Leno in goal, and it's a back three of Tete, Anderson and Bassi. The wing backs are Castagna and Sessegnon. Iwobi finding Castagna right side, just gets them on the attack at the start of the second half. It's Josh King in behind Rodrigo Muniz, and Berger and Lukic are in the centre of midfield. Here is Lukic right side, looking for Castagna, back into Lukic inside the penalty area, sends the ball into Muniz, who flicks a header from about 12 yards towards the far post, but never generated enough power to trouble Robert Sanchez, and it remains 1-0 to Chelsea. Stuart Pearce, what do you expect from this second half? Chelsea have got to be better, haven't they?
Well, Chelsea are going to be better, I'm sure, but what Fulham have got to make sure they do, and we saw Silva go down, he was cutting a figure of a very frustrated man, which we understand a little bit. but they can't let the angst of a decision erode their second half performance. They've got every right to sulk and bemoan a decision, but they've got to come out here, park that and replicate that first half performance.
Our memories take us back to Old Trafford, where he lost his head actually in a game in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, where Fulham were bossing that game and ended up losing to Manchester United, and then lost 3 bodies, him, Willian and Mitrovic, in the space of 90 seconds. All of them were sent off after he lost his head because of a decision going against him in that game. So they'll just have to keep their cool here as Chelsea look to come forward. Poor by Neto, his ball in, goes straight to Josh King, who funnels back, gives it to Leno, and he kicks clear over the halfway line. Up towards Rodrigo Muniz. Tosin wins it in the air, heads it down to Caicedo. Chelsea just haven't looked at their very best, and Jason Cundy, who I bumped into at half-time, said to me, what's going on here? Have Chelsea been out on the sauce last night? He said they just don't look right. They don't look in the perfect picture of health. He was getting frustrated, and he'll be on the game day phone in a little bit later on Talksport. Neto left side, in towards the penalty area, evades everybody. No one jumped for the ball in Chelsea blue, and it was cleared away. Picked up by Chalobah, loses out to Bassi. Comes back to the left side of the Fulham defence, and Sessegnon tries to feed it into Rodrigo Muniz. Caicedo is there to stop it. Gusto, Caicedo, Chelsea getting a little bit more control now possibly. Tyreek George links the play. Esteval wants it played down the right hand side. Gusto trying to get it infield. Chalobah with a cross into the area. João Pedro chests it down, tries to hook it over the Fulham defence. They allow it to bounce, he's still got it. Caicedo arriving on the edge of the area does well. Chalobah feeds it into the box. Well, the arm went up from Sessegnon there, comes back out from Caicedo. He drags the ball low towards the far post, and there will be an inquest here as to whether or not that was an intentional block by Sessegnon, who turned his back to the ball, and his arm was up and his elbow slightly raised here, and VAR will look at this, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, he certainly will. Listen, the one thing you do know is Fulham will not be particularly happy if another decision goes their way, goes against them.
I think it is going to be a handball. I think it is going to be a penalty. I mean, from the look of the way that the body shape of Ryan Sessegnon is, he turns his back and his arm comes away from his body. Is that outside his natural silhouette? I think it is.
Yeah, it's a penalty. I think it's a penalty, Sam. I think you're right. If the referee's got involved with the last decision and chalked it off, he's got to get involved with this decision, because he's jumped up, he's spread his body to block the shot, albeit with his leg, but his arm has been the thing that made the contact with the ball. I think he'll give a penalty here.
I don't think there's much debate, actually. I think because of the law being as it is, if you turn and lead with your elbow to try and block a shot with your back and it hits the bottom of your arm, then that's going to be
They're looking at a potential free kick in the build-up to this on Iwobi. And Iwobi's gone down cheaply. I don't know whether...
So does that influence his decision? So there was a collision between Iwobi and Caicedo on the edge of the box. Is that a foul?
Well, if you've chalked the last one off, that is exactly the same, near enough. Caicedo's trod on the foot of Iwobi.
Has he not played the ball? There's some suggestion it might have hit João Pedro's arm in the build-up to it.
Good luck
in
sorting this out.
There's quite a few things to unpick for Rob Jones, who has now gone over to the monitor to decide whether or not this is going to be a penalty. I think the standalone decision of whether or not it hit the arm, I don't think is going to be debated. It's all the other things that happen in the build-up to it. Did it hit João Pedro's hand inside the penalty area as well in the build-up to it? Is something else that they're looking at.
They're looking at a handball by João Pedro. They're looking at potential foul on Iwobi, and they're looking... We've even lost track of the actual penalty decision anyway. My goodness, what has the game come to?
Well, the good news is that there's a high bar, high threshold, and he only gets involved, the VAR, on major incidents and huge errors.
Well,
I mean, this is just frustrating for the Fulham supporters away to our left. I mean, I think it's a penalty personally, but
yes.
I don't think it should take this long to sort it out.
No, but in the build-up to the penalty, we've had 4 weddings and a funeral.
Might be a funeral for VAR if it continues like this. Well, still we wait as he watches again Chalabar's ball into the box. I mean, he's hit his arm, so if that's now what they're looking at, that has got to be a penalty by the laws of the game as they stand. He's made his body unnaturally bigger, and that is not how you defend in the penalty area. So it has to go over and give a penalty for that. Let's hear what he says.
Nothing. A Chelsea fan.
He's just about to talk, Stuart. Hold on a second.
After review, Fulham 30 makes his body unnaturally bigger by walking across with his arm extended away from his body. Therefore, my final decision is penalty kick.
Crikey, I think we probably guessed that after one replay, Stuart, didn't we?
Well, we did. It's just all the kerfuffle in the build-up. A potential foul and a potential handball in the build-up to the actual handball that has given the penalty. A Chelsea fans just run up to me and said, we know what they're doing. What's that, my friend? They're reffing our game up, is the view from a Chelsea fan. It is incredible, really. The decision of a penalty, I concur with. It's definitely the arms away from the hand. It is granted. But in the build-up to that, 2 niggles that will frustrate the life out of Marco Silva, and that will be an interesting interview after the game for yourselves.
Well, we're all looking at each other up here as if to say, what on earth is going on here today? I mean, it's an absolute mess. It really is an absolute mess. I mean, Chelsea have not been very good, but they now have the opportunity to go 2-0 in front. And Enzo Fernandez, who misfired quite a bit in that first half, has the chance to put them 2-0 up against Fulham from the penalty spot. He sucks in the air, steps up, right-footed, rams it down the middle of the goal. It hit the legs of Leno, who dived to his right, but squeezed in anyway. He slaps his chest and runs away to celebrate, and Chelsea somehow have a 2-goal lead that they barely deserve. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, exactly that. On the run of play, if you're tuned in and you're thinking, well, it's 2-0, normal service, it's anything but in this game. Incredible, really. You know, the referee's the big talking point instead of the football in some ways, you know. And, well, it's incredible. And Fulham have just got to lift themselves up and try and get the next goal in this game and get a foothold back in the game.
Well, Marco Silva is scratching the top of his lip. He can't quite believe what he's seen here. He's having a word with his assistant, Hugo Oliveira, one of his first team coaches, and they're just about to make a change here, and that change is going to be the introduction of the Mexican Raul Jimenez, who's going to become the first Mexican to make 200 appearances in the Premier League. And we'll get some team news for you from up and down the country. Our 3 o'clock kickoffs are very important today. But first of all, here's Esteval running through the centre. Poor ball through to Tyreek George, and it's cleared away by Calvin Bassey, and then up to Iwobi, who takes the ball out towards this near side, and King tries to build the play. Let's go off to Old Trafford, because Manchester United under a bit of pressure. Ruben Amorim has been talking a lot in the build-up to this game, maybe too much. Let's see what he's done with his team sheet. Mickey Gray.
Yeah, and it's just the one change for United from their last league game against Fulham, with Patrick Dorgu dropping to the bench and Diogo Dalot coming in. So Benjamin Sesko and Andre Onana start from the bench yet again. As for Burnley, they're unchanged from their 2-0 win against Sunderland last weekend. It's Man United against Burnley.
João Pedro edge of the Fulham penalty area, wanders forward once again. Chelsea on the attack, leading by 2-0. Chelsea will go top of the table with this victory for a couple of hours, and then Tottenham might be able to overtake them. They've had a good start under Thomas Frank. Here's the team news for their game this afternoon against Bournemouth. Talksport's Alex Crook.
New Spurs signing Xavi Simons wasn't registered in time to play, so no surprise the home side are unchanged from last weekend's 2-0 win at Manchester City. Bournemouth made wholesale changes in the Cup in midweek, lost to Brentford. They revert to the same side that beat Wolves. It's Tottenham against Bournemouth.
I wonder whether or not Strand Larsen is going to be in the Wolves team. Adam Bridge.
He's not, no. We're told he's injured despite scoring twice in midweek. 5 changes from that defeat at Bournemouth. Doherty, Hoover, Wolf, Bellegarde and Strand Larsen are missing. Hugo and Santiago Buena, Andre, Chechua and Hwang all come in. 2 changes from Everton. Irabunum and Barry are on the bench. Mikolenko and Beto start.
Esteval just has a brilliant moment, getting down the right-hand side, dancing into the box, getting onto his left foot, drawing the ball low down to the goalkeeper's left. In the end, the finish didn't have the power that was required, Stuart Pearce.
No, certainly didn't. And at the moment, he's ruining Bassi. I've got to say, Bassi's got a lot of attributes, but stopping his big frame and moving those feet quickly are not one of them.
A couple of changes incoming for Fulham. They're going to make 2. And they're going to take off Castagna and bring on Wilson. It probably means a change of formation. They're also going to take off Rodrigo Moniz and bring on Raul Jimenez, as mentioned beforehand. And Chelsea bringing on Jamie Gittins for Esteval. Esteval Gittins change hasn't happened yet, but the 2 Fulham changes have now happened. Esteval still on the playing surface and Chelsea still leading by 2-0. Let's go off to Sunderland, the Stadium of Light. They won their opening game there, but what's going to happen this afternoon? Graham Courtney.
It's going to be tight. A couple of changes for Sunderland. Dan Ballard is injured, so Nordi Mukulele makes his full debut. Seaman Adringa, he drops down to the bench. Enzo Lefebvre comes in. Brentford unchanged from their 1-0 win at home to Villa. No sign of Johan Wisse in the entire squad. Sunderland-Brentford, Stadium of Light.
OK, so Johan Wisse, Jürgen Strand Larsen, all subject possibly of late transfer deals. Alex Crook is the man to follow, and we will give you all the information you need on deadline day with a whole stream of special programming, including a special deadline day drive and a programme from 6:30 on Monday night with Alex Crook and Jim White just as the deadline closes. Lovely turn by João Pedro on the halfway line, releases Neto over on the left, he gallops into the Fulham penalty area, plays it into Enzo Fernandez. Not entirely sure what he was trying to do with that there, just got completely caught in 2 minds and ended up giving the ball away. And Fulham are able to clear up the pitch, and quickly Josh King attacks the Chelsea penalty area, moves into the box, plays it to the edge where Iwobi is waiting. Infield it goes to Raul Jimenez. He tries to work it wide, but Cucurella keeps hold of him tightly. And then there's a push in the back on Enzo Fernandez. I mean, it looked to be a little bit of a dive, that, and a free kick has been given. Talksport 2 has live commentary of Ipswich Derby at Portman Road this afternoon. And there for us is your Talksport 2 commentator, Ian Danta.
And there are 4 changes for Ipswich Town. Some of the new arrivals, including the guy that came from Norwich, Marcelino Nunez, not involved. But young Kayuste Chaplin and Makatia start this afternoon. 5 changes for Derby. Bobby Clark comes in also for Scythe, Johnston, Brewster, and a first start for Lewis Travis following his move from Blackburn. We're live from 2:30 on Talksport 2 for Ipswich against Derby.
Long ball forward towards João Pedro, draws the goalkeeper, tries to go round him. What a brilliant stop by Leno. A little bit indecisive maybe from João Pedro, but Leno was out so quickly at his feet, right on the edge of the box, and he got his fingertips to it and pushed it away. It's an excellent bit of goalkeeping.
Yeah, it certainly is. Chelsea have grown in confidence with this 2-goal buffer at the moment, and Fulham have just become a little bit loose in their play, and Chelsea have come into the game and dominating a little bit more, and Fulham look shaken.
Could you maybe excuse some of Chelsea's lacklustre performance in the first half with the absence of Cole Palmer, with the substitution of Delap, having very young players at the top of the formation as well, Esteval and the teenager Tyreek George involved today? Can you give them any sort of pass for their performance in the first 50 minutes of the game?
I can as well, and also we've got to give Fulham a lot of credit here. They're well organised, well drilled, and have made it very, very difficult for Chelsea, and had some very good performances within their ranks.
Chelsea just getting to grips with it now, and Esteval has been kept on by Enzo Maresca as he is sent down the right. Bassi struggling to keep pace with him, so he has to nudge the ball back to Leno. It's cleared upfield and headed away by Tosin Adarabioyo. Harry Wilson brings it down. Neto, lovely turn by Tyreek George. Neto wants to take it off his toes. He does. He's got Esteval to his left, George to his right. Gusto joining the attack now. George has had a couple of touches since that second goal has gone in. He looks a little bit more confident in his body frame in this second half. In the first half he looked a little bit lost, but maybe that was because Chelsea couldn't really get him into the game. Gusto into the area looking for João Pedro, who's just dropped outside it. Enzo Fernandez, Malo Gusto. Chelsea camped on the edge of the Fulham penalty area now. Esteval wide on the left for a moment, plays it into Caicedo, back to Esteval once again, then into Caicedo. Chelsea keeping the pressure on. Remember, we'll have all of the goals as they go in from around the grounds here on Talksport throughout the course of the afternoon. In the Championship, Middlesbrough lead Sheffield United by 1-0. That goal coming from Tommy Conway in the second half. That's live on Talksport 2. It's Queen's Park Rangers 1, Charlton 1, Stoke 0, West Brom 1. That's the latest scoreline. Hasn't Ryan Mason done very well? A good start at West Bromwich Albion, the Hawthorns. I mean, despite the fact that he got sent off the other week. But he certainly has had a couple of good results. Cardiff lead Plymouth in League One by 3-0. Ruben Colwell with the latest goal, and Doncaster still lead Rotherham by 1-0. Fleetwood 1 up away at Barrow in League 2. Swindon 3-0 up away at Leaders Crew in League 2. And you're up to date on Talksport with Chelsea leading Fulham by 2-0. Here is Neto going down the right, outpacing Sessegnon, pulling it into Gusto. Esteval edge of the area, across to João Pedro, whose effort is deflected. Esteval was chasing it down, but Leno gets there first. And Fulham managed to bring it away. 2-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, they've got a newfound confidence now, Chelsea. They really have. They're knocking the ball around extremely well. Better movement within the ranks. And it wouldn't surprise you if they went on to get a third at the moment. They're exposing Anderson and Bassi at the heart of the defence. Now they've gone to a back four as well.
Well, they did that switch, didn't they, once they brought on Harry Wilson. So Tete at right back, Anderson and Bassi in the centre, and Sessegnon is at left back. Might give Chelsea a little bit more room, but they've got to be assertive, Fulham, because they've got to try and somehow come from 2 goals down. They came from behind to win the game on Boxing Day here at Stamford Bridge, but the deficit is a little bit larger this time around. Away by Chalobah, edge of the area. Tosin and Chalobah had a rough first 45 minutes as well, but they've had a much better second 45 minutes. Here's Esteval, travelling with the ball on this right-hand side. Slows up before going up and facing Bassi. Then comes infield, passes Bassi, still continues. Bassi then ends up trying to commit a foul, ends up giving the ball away. Fernandez has got it now, edge of the area, and now it's out to the left wing, where it's with Neto, teasing his way past Wilson. He's cross aimed towards João Pedro, who is stretching to reach it inside the 6-yard box, but it just evaded him. A brilliant cross by Pedro Neto from the wide left position, right-footed, in-swinger, and coming in on the edge of the 6-yard box. João Pedro was flinging himself towards the ball, just couldn't reach it.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Robinson come on here, and Sessegnon coming off, a bit of extra pace getting forward. Another 2 subs actually coming on. Can't quite pick up.
Yeah, Emil Smith-Rowe is going to come on for Josh King, and I wanted to ask you about Josh King, because you said to me it's transfer window time at half-time. You said if I was at one of the big boys right now, I would be lolloping down 80 million quid on Josh King. Tell me why.
His receiving skills, his understanding of the game. Listen, I'm basing that on a 45-minute cameo that I've just seen of him delivering for Fulham. He understands where to run, he understands where to receive the ball, he's aware of players around him that he's playing against, and he uses his body really well within that, and he is a real talent. If I'm Man City now, I think he fits Man City brilliantly, I really do. And De Bruyne's left the building, is someone of his ilk, on what I've seen today, honestly.
They've got players in that area, and Pep's trying to trim the squad, but I understand what you mean. He's that type of footballer, he's that level. You think he could play in the Champions League right now?
Comfortably, on what I've seen today, you know. And listen, sometimes you have to back your judgment as a coach, as a manager, and as a pundit, and what I've seen, I've been massively impressed by him.
Esteval has now come off to be replaced by Jamie Gittins. Gittins has gone out to the left side, and as a result, Pedro Neto has come out to this right-hand side for Chelsea, who have made their change. They lead by 2-0. João Pedro on the stroke of half-time, and Enzo Fernandez. You're listening to Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Leeds versus Newcastle live today. Search Now Sports. We are here at Stamford Bridge. The sun trying to peek out after a cloudy moment, and Chelsea certainly feels as if the sun is shining on them today. They've been a little bit fortunate with a couple of VAR decisions that have gone their way, and that has led them into a 2-goal lead. They now find themselves as the more assertive force in the football match, having been outplayed in the first half by Fulham. Here is Caicedo over halfway into Neto, Gusto, Caicedo, Neto, little triangles around Iwobi and Smith Rowe, and then back to the halfway line where it's with Malo Gusto, and Chelsea know that they don't have to force the issue. Here is Tosin Adarabioyo, Cucurella out to Jamie Gittins over on the left hand side, a £48.5 million signing in the summer from Borussia Dortmund. Gives them an extra bit of pace down that left hand side. Here's Neto, who's trying to inject that down the right. He runs laterally, feeds it into Tyreek George, who holds it up really well, then sends it on to Cucurella. Gittins takes over left edge of the area, faced up by Wilson, tries to run into the box, a right-footed shot, takes a deflection, wins a corner.
I've got to say about Chelsea, you know, we've been really positive about Fulham, but from Chelsea's point of view, aspirations of challenging, you know, for the title this year, they've not played particularly well, but they've got a 2-goal ascendancy. Now all of a sudden you can see the talent within the ranks with the confidence that's ebbing through the team now.
But is that going to be their issue? The fact is, because there's quite a lot of young talent in this team, that they're not always going to be able to be at their consistent best, especially when you've got some of the big hitters out like Palmer because of injury.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Manchester City and probably Liverpool of recent years have set the standard of the level of consistency. This is what the game's all about. As an individual and as a collective, can you roll out a level of consistency, not hit the highs 1 minute and then hit the lows the next?
Because it's a little bit different, isn't it, being a team that can win a tournament like they did in the summer, where you can hit a vein of form very quickly and maintaining that over 38 games. Here's Neto down the right, looking to feed the ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It hits the defender Anderson, goes out for a corner.
Yeah, you're right there. As I say, picking up a cup, you can string probably 6 performances together, spread out over a season potentially. Actually going on and winning the league, that is the yardstick of real quality and consistency.
Well, they've got their Champions League fixtures now, and got quite a lot going on, including Barcelona, Bayern Munich, a trip to Bayern Munich, and chance to play Benfica again as Chalobah sends it into the far post after a near post flick on from a Neto corner. It went right the way through the 6-yard box, and Fulham didn't defend that well at all. Chelsea almost scored another goal from a corner, and then there's a foul by Raul Jimenez over on the far side, which gives Chelsea another set piece.
Once again, Chelsea have had 4 or 5 corners and they've looked an absolute threat. Fulham have really been poor defending their corners. Players are in place, but no one's getting off the floor to challenge for the ball.
20 minutes to go, and most of the post-match inquest will be over the 2 big decisions in the match, the one to disallow the Josh King goal and the one to give Chelsea a penalty. But Enzo Maresca will only be thinking about the 3 points. I'm not sure that will be on the mind of Marco Silva, as Fernandez sends another ball into the area which is misguided, hits the midfield and is cleared away. Back in by Gusto into the penalty area, looking for the run of Enzo Fernandez, and he just went to stretch for what was a difficult ball to bring down, but instead of bringing it down he decided to pull out last minute. Maybe he had Liam Delap's hamstring on his mind there. Delap had to go off after 15 minutes. Tosin away from the halfway line where Fulham have tried to send the ball. It's headed clear. João Pedro's performance, what have you made of him? He's 5 goals in 5 starts for Chelsea. He's been involved in 7 goals in the last 5 games now. For a bit of historical context, only Diego Costa, Morata and Tammy Abraham have scored 5 goals in their first 5 Chelsea starts. What do you think? Does he give them a different dimension?
100%. He certainly does. I mean, with the fact we talked about Jackson pre-show about he's probably not hit it off, and when you told me his goals tally, 24 goals in 56 games, Jackson, that weren't bad, but you've got to turn round and say that João Pedro has been front and centre for most of what Chelsea's done, scoring the goal, and he's got in on a couple of occasions and stretching and just missed things. And the longer the game goes on, it wouldn't surprise you if he's on the score sheet again.
Iwobi has been booked for a foul. And Chelsea have a free kick just in front of the halfway line, and Malagusto will take it. It's Chelsea 2, Fulham 0, and you're listening to Talksport. Chalobah guiding it back to Sanchez. Sanchez across to Tosin Adarabioyo as Chelsea look to put 3 points on the board for the second successive weekend. And they go top of the table momentarily. Tosin again looking a little bit shaky under pressure from Emil Smith-Rowe. Guides it back to Robert Sanchez, who decides to kick long. If there are vulnerabilities for Chelsea, I think they will probably concede more goals than they did last season at this rate. They still have the propensity to make mistakes, and they don't look particularly secure. Here is... in fact, actually, do you know what? The truth is they would have conceded in all 3 games this season if VAR hadn't got involved, Stuart, because Eze had a brilliant free kick which was ruled out, rightly, according to the laws of the game. They had a goal disallowed here today, and of course they conceded away at West Ham after a misjudgment by the goalkeeper from a long-range effort from Lucas Paqueta.
Yeah, indeed. Sometimes you've got to have the rub of the green, and from that you've got to spring it and take your chances, and they've done exactly that.
Now they lead with 15 minutes to go here. Bernd Leno clipping it forward up towards the halfway line. Header by Tosin is a strong one. Jimenez went down. João Pedro tried to keep it alive with a little scorpion kick which bounces through to Sander Berge, and he gets it all the way back to his goalkeeper Leno, who will clear, and he clears high over the halfway line. It's Cucurella with the header towards the halfway, and then he has a little nibble over on the far side on Harry Wilson, and the free kick is given to Fulham. Can they come up with a comeback here? They haven't really looked like doing anything actually since Chelsea's second goal, Stuart. They've lost their way.
They've been shaken, there's no doubt about that. They've been shaken. They come out, I think the VAR decision in the first half, then conceding the goal, but they come out the second half, started okay, but really since the second goal they've been shaken to the core, and they need something to go their way. They've got a corner now. This might be the opportunity.
Well, across comes Sasa Lukic, the Serbian international, likely to play against England in 10 days' time. He's going to take the corner kick from the near side. He's going to aim it in towards the centre of the penalty area. He's just given the code to Anderson and Bassi, who will be expected to attack this role. Jimenez, who's great in the air, also looking to try and get on the end of it. Anthony Robinson and Iwobi on the edge of the area. It's aimed in towards Bassi, and it's headed away by Tosin after Bassi just got in front of the ball. Back to Iwobi. Iwobi plays it square, taken on by Emil Smith-Rowe into the path of Harry Wilson. Wilson out towards the right. Anderson tries to, well, he was going to feed that into Tete and then decided against it, came back towards Smith-Rowe, and now he's got it again. Anderson, right side, cross into the box. It comes off Chalobah, and then did it hit an arm of Malagusto? Jimenez was complaining that it did, and Chelsea are on the attack, and Neto has just made the wrong decision, held on to it too long, ran into Iwobi and gifted possession back to the away team, Fulham. Here is Emil Smith-Rowe for Fulham, trailing by 2-0 against Chelsea. Lukic back in field, comes to Iwobi, prodded away by Tosin, picked up by Tyreek George. João Pedro, well, he could only play one pass and didn't play it, and now Neto's in an offside position, so he has to twist away from Sonderberger, plays it back into midfield. Caicedo then slips as he tries to play the ball forward. Smith-Rowe gets away from Cucurella, and now it's picked up far side by Wilson. Cucurella's ratting in, making challenges galore. There's going to be a free kick for the first offence, not the second. And Chelsea just being told by their captain Enzo Fernandez to calm proceedings down because it's getting a bit spicy again.
Yeah, I just that last handball claim that flashed across the front of the goal, the players sort of made a little bit of it, but his arm was slightly away from his body.
After this, Chelsea have a game at Brentford after the international break, live on Talksport. Not sure of the order of the fixtures yet for the Champions League. We did get them earlier, didn't we? I think it's Bayern Munich at home, the first one they get in the Champions League, Chelsea. And then, or away, might be away that one. Fulham have Leeds, Brentford, Villa and Bournemouth to come. Malagusto had a shout for handball against him. The VAR has looked at it and decided that his arm wasn't unnaturally bigger and away from his body. We'll get Stuart's view on that after this free kick from Lukic into the penalty area. On the penalty spot, Tosin prods it away with his head. It's collected by Neto, but he can't keep it under control. Anthony Robertson sends it down the right side for Fulham, who trail by 2-0. Cucurella is there again. Tete's managed to put it through the legs of the Spaniard, and then Gitting gets it back to his goalkeeper. So what's your assessment?
Yeah, probably he's just skimmed off his forehead, just grazed his arm, so for me, no penalty.
If it comes off another part of the body onto an arm, they're not going to give that. Here is Iwobi, and Jimenez is furious, right, because he thought he'd got in behind the Chelsea defence and was waiting for the ball to be threaded through by Iwobi. It didn't come. But Fulham have just started to find their rhythm again with nearly 10 minutes to go. It's clipped to the far post. Robinson with a header down towards Jimenez. He's still fighting for it, can't hold on to it, and Pedro Neto will bring it away. He runs into traffic. He's still on the floor. Fulham win it back again. Chelsea can't get out at the moment.
Yeah, I think a Fulham goal now, this could make the last 10-15 minutes rather interesting.
And Chelsea send it forward again aimlessly. They look a little bit tired, Stuart. They look like they're gassing a little bit.
Well, they're just waiting to see the game out, if truth be known. They've done they've got their nose in front. They'll be happy to see this game finish. They're looking to the bench, maybe some fresh blood from Chelsea coming on shortly.
Yeah. They're going to bring on Andre Santos. He missed that great chance against Crystal Palace, and Reece James is going to get 10 minutes for Chelsea. Here is Sasa Lukic into Wilson, who just tried to take that down behind the defence, but it ran off his laces and goes behind and away for a goal kick. So the substitutions can take place, and here is Andre Santos and Reece James, and off come Pedro Neto and Tyreek George. He's been light bulbed.
Yeah, on and off.
I don't think that's a reflection of his second half performance. I think he did quite well, and he gets a big round of applause from everyone in this stadium. And Enzo Maresca will, I think, value the fact that he has played over an hour for Chelsea today, because he came on after 15 minutes, Tyreek George. So it's not one of those decisions where you bring a youngster on, then bring him off because he has failed to make an impact. Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book at enterprise.co.uk.
I thought Fernandez was coming off for a moment there. I think he's had a poor game today, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Yeah. Reece James on for Neto, Santos on for Tyreek George. That's the two changes. Interesting to see where James goes now. He's gone into the right fullback position, and Malagusto's just pushed a little bit further on. Bassi has it in the centre of the Fulham defence as the sunshine comes out at Stamford Bridge. A little bit loose in midfield by Iwobi. One back by Santos, and then sent towards Fernandez, edge of the area, and his touch was heavy again. It's given away, cleared to halfway. James, and then into Caicedo, and then back to James once more. James immediately showing his class on the ball and how he can control the tempo, drifting in from that right back position into midfield to pick up the ball and get Chelsea on it. And he increased the tempo with 2 or 3 quick passes there, and that's what Chelsea have been lacking in the middle of the park today. Fernandez and Caicedo just haven't been able to provide that. Here's Iwobi teasing the ball into the box, looking for Lukic, and Caicedo had to be alert to the danger.
Yeah, Casado's done well again there. As I say, I think it's a bit harsh throwing Casado into the same conversation as Fernandez today. He's certainly been a lot better than him.
Adama Traore is going to go on in just a second to replace Iwobi. That's going to be the latest change. And Chelsea have a throw in deep inside their own territory with 8 to play. Well, Fulham have given away a penalty in each of their Premier League games so far this season. They gave one away against Brighton, Matt O'Reilly scored. Manchester United had a penalty in their game, Bruno Fernandes missed it. And Chelsea have got their second goal thanks to a penalty. That Iwobi Adama Traore change has been made. It's a weird quirk of the start of the season, isn't it? 3 penalties given away in 3 games. Here is Andre Santos trying to poke it through towards Fernandes. Lovely touch by João Pedro into Andre Santos again. He powers away from Anderson, looks to try and release João Pedro, who's miles offside. Andre Santos waited too long.
Yeah, from a defensive point of view, you're looking and you're thinking to yourself, they've been a little bit very shoddy, certainly on set plays, haven't they? Corners, Fulham have looked very sort of vulnerable. And then when the 2 central defenders have got pulled around a little bit, they've been a little bit leggy, fair to say, especially Bassi on this side.
We should have cashed out at half-time. Currently Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. The latest odds available from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Sasa Lukic to be booked at 5-1. João Pedro to score again, 11-1. Fulham to come back and win in the final 6 minutes, 500-1. The draw is 50-1. That's all thanks to Betfair, 18+, BigGambleAware.org. Playing a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair. Oh, Sanchez has given the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area, but Adama Traore couldn't take it in. Tosin was sold a little bit short there by the pass. I didn't know whether or not he realised that Adama Traore was in close proximity, and he almost gifted possession of Fulham right on the edge of the box. Jimenez with a challenge on Chalobah.
Yeah, just lost their way a little bit, Fulham, I think, which is a shame. All the good work they put in probably the first sort of 50 minutes of the game. Chelsea just easing through to the final whistle at present.
Yeah, Leeds are next for them at home, and they'll be a little bit disappointed with the result. 2-0 to the referees. The chant as Andre Santos comes forward. The ball's deflected off the defender into the path of João Pedro, and it's saved by Leno. It's a good save because he hit that with real fierce power high above the head of Leno. He thrust his arms into the air and repelled it brilliantly.
Yeah, I've got to say, it's that man again, João Pedro, who said that he thought he might have another goal in him. Certainly, great opportunity there. Ball sat for him just nicely, and he gave it everything he got. But good save by Leno.
There are a few Brazilians in this Chelsea team now. Andre Santos is another one of those. Esteval, João Pedro. And they are a team that have got a lot of precocious young talent. João Pedro himself is not the oldest striker in the Premier League. He's only 23. 60 million quid he costs from Brighton. He's had a very solid start to his Chelsea career. Jimenez turning the ball out towards the right, taken on by Adama Traore. Wilson wants it played into the centre. Jimenez is there over the bar.
Probably the best move of the game by Fulham there, certainly by them. Swept it from one side of the pitch to the other, and when the ball come in, you fancied Jimenez big time. He might have just been better suited letting it go to a teammate who was behind him to get his head on.
Well, Robert Sanchez is taking his time over this set piece. I think if Fulham had managed to find a way to get onto the scoreboard, then Chelsea would wobble a little bit. And Jimenez knows that on his 200th Premier League appearance, that was a real chance.
Well, it's for him with his ability in the air, that is for sure. Great ball in from Traore, as you'd expect. And it probably, if he'd have missed it, he's got a teammate coming in behind that might have been better suited.
Malagusto takes the ball down the right for Chelsea, travels into Fulham territory. Chelsea leading by 2-0 in the 88th minute of the game. Up to Tosin. Tosin square. Into Chalobah. Chalobah trying to clip it forward, looking for the run of João Pedro. João Pedro doesn't quite get there. It's away by Bassi. Anthony Robinson has it left side. Into Smith Rowe. Back to Robinson. It's a little bit scruffy from Fulham and invited pressure from Andre Santos. Anderson gets it back to Leno, who clears. And it goes right the way through the middle of the pitch, and Caicedo has it again. Looks to turn, under pressure. Does that well. Sonderberger, who's a giant in the middle of the park. Real physical presence. He's done his defensive work well, Caicedo, today, hasn't he? Chelsea with the ball have been a little bit more disappointed. And like, you're right, he's not the main guilty party there. That probably falls on the shoulder of his partner, Enzo Fernandez. Here's Gittins trying to cause Tete some problems as the ball is swung up by Chalobah into his path. Chelsea still lead by 2-0 with Talksport. And Enterprise rent a car. Here for it, book at enterprise.co.uk.
Yeah, I think you spoke of Caicedo there. This Chelsea team, they rely on him a hell of a lot just to deal with things in the centre of midfield there. I think he's pretty invaluable to Chelsea, and keeping him fit will be a good influencer to see where they finish in this division.
Yeah, Tony Cascarino has come here today, our weekend sports breakfast host, especially to look at Caicedo. And he's a big fan, and he's not the only one. Adama Traore trying to get out of a tight spot in the right fullback position. He's blocked off by Cucurella and Jamie Gittins. It's out for a throw with a minute to go on Talksport. And Chelsea in front thanks to 2 VAR interventions. They're trying to get further in front here. Santos to James. James, edge of the area, tries to shoot from distance and does. It's low and hard, but it's straight down the centre of the goal and cleared away. Josh King thought he'd put Fulham in front after 21 minutes. A breakaway goal and a lovely finish, a really beautiful finish for what would have been his first Fulham goal, but it was ruled out by the VAR for a foul on Trevor Chalobah by Rodrigo Muniz. There was a lengthy delay for that. There was a lengthy delay for an injury to Liam Delap. We had 8 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. We're going to get 8 minutes at the end of the second as well, because there was a lengthy delay over a penalty shout in the second half awarded to Chelsea for a handball by Ryan Sessegnon. It led to a 2-goal lead, and that had to be forensically analysed because there were a couple of other incidents in the build-up to that, like an accidental handball as it was deemed by João Pedro, and a coming together as it was deemed on the edge of the box by Trevor Chalobah and I think it was Caicedo actually, wasn't it, and Iwobi on the edge of the area. Here is Smith Rowe back to Robinson and then on to Berger. Berger trying to turn now, looks to thread it through to Raul Jimenez, then back to Smith Rowe. We're into injury time. 8 minutes added on at the end of the 90. Traore out to the right into the area where he's got Lukic waiting for the ball. He's been doubled up against as he crosses it to the far post. He beats the far post and Gusto is there to nudge it behind and out for a corner.
Yeah, super cross there by Traore. Just dropped his shoulder, got right to the byline. He has the ability just to dig out across and leave it in the box invitingly.
Always sort of criticised, wasn't he, that his end product wasn't good enough. Has it improved?
Probably not.
Free kick, corner kick for Lukic on this near side.
I think when we talk end product, if you're talking about crossing of the ball, it's certainly outstanding, always has been. We're talking about probably goals, the goals column.
And sometimes decision making when it gets into the final third.
Indeed. You get that right, you score more goals.
Here is the corner kick to be taken by Lukic. The pushing and shoving that Rob Jones is dealing with at the moment is involving Jimenez and Gusto. Rob Jones eventually allows the corner kick to be taken, is he? Yeah, they're still pushing and shoving in front of the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper pushes Jimenez to the floor. Ball goes into the penalty area. It's headed down and it's cleared off the line by João Pedro. Headed down by Anderson and cleared off the line by João Pedro as Chelsea survive a late scare. And there was all sorts going on from that corner. Lukic's delivery, headed on by Anderson. It was dropping into the far corner before João Pedro intervened. Here is Wilson, chopped in half by Santos, yellow card.
Yeah, really unfortunate there, and it's fair to say that the luck has not been in Fulham's favour. Anderson's header cleared off the line, big skirmish, and out it comes.
What a chance that was for Chelsea. And they might keep a clean sheet here. They've got a problem, though, for one of their players. Moises Caicedo is down, holding his leg. He looks in severe pain, actually, and they've asked for a substitute. They've asked for him to be replaced.
Yeah, but the Chelsea bench is unmoved at the moment. No one's got up. Doesn't seem a great deal of concern for him.
Well, he has now got to his feet, but he's moving incredibly gingerly. He doesn't look happy at all, does he? I don't know what happened there, because the foul was by Santos beforehand on Wilson. We were drawn to that. And then there was a collision between Caicedo and somebody else just straight after that. Free kick to Fulham, 10 yards outside the box. It's a shade right of centre. It's going to be taken by Raul Jimenez, who's just about to unleash a firecracker from range. He's got the power to do that. Harry Wilson's standing over it as well. You might argue he is better placed, but Jimenez looks set from this position. There is a two-man Fulham wall in front of the Chelsea wall. Just everybody check that that's 1 metre before we start, just in case we have a repeat of the Gurhey situation. It is Jimenez who hits it, and he hits it so hard, so high, it goes way over the bar and never tests Robert Sanchez away to our left.
Yeah, no feel for the ball there whatsoever. And just looking at that last corner that was cleared off the line from an Anderson header, it was João Pedro, the man who dropped on the line, who cleared it off the line. So his contribution today, not only scoring goals, he saved his team a goal as well.
Yes, he has. He's had contributions at both ends. And Fulham have now gone 12 Premier League games without a clean sheet. The last one they managed was back in March when they played Tottenham Hotspur. That's something that they're going to have to tighten up on as well. And they will feel a little bit hard done by about the second goal, but the first goal came, as Stuart has pointed out, from a corner, and they have looked vulnerable from those situations, and that's why they're walking away with nothing here as we approach the final few seconds of the match. 95 play. We're taking you around the grounds with Adrian Durham in the next few moments. We've got all the big action from the big games involving Wolves and Everton, Spurs and Bournemouth, Manchester United and Ipswich Town in action at home today. Manchester United at Burnley, Ipswich Town on Talksport 2 in the Championship with Ian Danta, and Sunderland against Brentford kicks off at 3 o'clock as well. Graham Courtney is there for that one, so all the Championship action as well to bring you. Middlesbrough about to beat Sheffield United on Talksport 2. They've just done that, in fact. Queen's Park Rangers have beaten Charlton by 3-1. Hold on, hold the back page. Sasa Lukic has just been booked, Stuart Pearce. The charity bet is in. 95 minutes and 50 seconds. Sasa Lukic has just kicked the ball away. Well done, fella. We've got loads of money for the Bobby Moore Fund.
Well. Listen, there is some good come out of the day then, certainly. All for a good cause.
Sam Rossbottom is sitting there in his little bunker, smashing the table. He can't believe he's got to pay out on that. Well done, Sasa, like that. It was a bit of pushing and shoving, actually, and then he kicked the ball away in frustration, and as a result of that, yellow card. Yeah, brilliant. Well done. Great news for the charity. And great news for us. Well done, João Pedro over on the far side. And he springs the ball down, tries to take it into the corner, doesn't quite get hold of it, puts it out of play, and it's away for a throw-in, which Malagusto will take, gives it back to Jamie Gittins. Chelsea will go away for the international break here. Lots of players will go off to their respective nations, travel all over the world now. But what will Enzo Maresca take away from this game?
Well, he'll know that his team haven't played particularly well, but when you're not playing well and still winning games, you're absolutely delighted with. He's got a couple of weeks to get Delap's hamstring right again in the international break. So, and at this moment in time, Chelsea are top of the Premier League. So what more can you do?
Here is Smith Rowe into Wilson, tries to slide it through the box. Chalobah does stand up and push the ball behind, and it goes away for a Fulham corner. They want to rush this and get it done quickly. They get it back to Robinson, who's crossed into the box. He's headed away by Fernandes. Comes out as far as Kenny Tete after a good header by the Argentine, but Adama Traore has got it again. He gets towards the edge of the area and then feeds it back into the path of Bassi. Bassi out wide. Anderson down the side to Tete. His cross aiming towards Sasalukic, away by Tosin. Poked clear by Emil Smith-Rowe. Keeps the pressure on. Robinson back into the box. Again, it doesn't really reach its intended target. It's a bit scruffy from Fulham, and Chelsea with João Pedro has been absolutely terrific. Just about gets it away. I mean, I don't know what the man of the match is going to be, but Pedro will be up there. And Chelsea are up there on top of the Premier League for a couple of hours at least. They bite back after being beat on Boxing Day by the Cottagers. They also prove for the second week running that they aren't too over-reliant on Cole Palmer. They do have the propensity to score goals, especially if they get a helping hand from a VAR call or two. Fulham furious over the VAR call that denied Josh King his first goal for the club. Chelsea benefited late on in the half of some scrappy defending from a set piece, which saw them score a fourth goal from a corner this season. Enzo Fernandez added a penalty after a VAR review which went on for 4.5 minutes after a handball was given against Ryan Sessegnon. That was much disputed. That wasn't the only decision that was much disputed. And on a beautiful sun-kissed afternoon in SW6, Chelsea take all 3 points and go to the top of the Premier League. Full time at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea beaten Fulham by 2-0.
Sam, thank you very much. Yeah, smoke is billowing out here. They love a bit of a celebration here at Stamford Bridge, don't they? First victory here at home so far this season, and as Sam rightly said, it's taken them to the top of the table against what will be a very, very aggrieved Fulham side. The players, the manager and the fans, of course, who I know are very, very angry at how this game has panned out. Last year, they beat them here on Boxing Day, ending a 21-game winless streak against Chelsea. They beat them for the first time in 45 years. It was a feat that was not to be repeated today, but Fulham fans will be saying how cruelly this game had been taken away from them. Fulham fans are cheering for their team. The players are heading over to our left to the away supporters. And Chelsea are doing a bit of a lap of honour as well. So a hive of activity still pitchside down there. Stuart Pearce, look, I strongly believe this should have been Josh King's day. Unfortunately, it's not. But there were 2 really key decisions, and unfortunately, VAR is at the centre of everything. Chelsea have gone to the top of the table. They've won this game playing not at their best, but the story is VAR.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think the game in many, many ways swung. The momentum of the game swung, the momentum of Fulham and how everything panned out after that swung on that decision, sadly. Listen, I'd rather not be talking about VAR, but for me, I don't think it was the correct decision, and
You're talking about the first one? I'm
talking about the first one, to be quite honest with you.
The Chalobah the Rodrigo Muniz apparent careless challenge on Chalobah.
Yeah, and as I say, for me...
Which led to the disallowed Josh King goal on the 21st minute.
I don't think there was enough in there, personally, not when Muniz was in possession of the ball, not Chalobah. That's the critical area for me that we're talking about here. But Chelsea, to be fair to Chelsea, they've kept going. They rode their luck slightly with certain decisions in my mind, and they've got a victory that's driven them to the top of the Premier League at this moment in time.
And what about the decision that led to the penalty? So it looked like there was an accidental handball from João Pedro. It also looked accidental on Ryan Sessegnon, but it was in the box. So the referee made the right decision, or should he have gone with the accidental handball on Pedro?
Well, that aside, if you look at the handball situation from Sessegnon, was it a penalty? I would agree with Sam on there. You've got to give a penalty for that. His arms away from his body. If there was enough in the build-up with 2 incidents, I think they were looking at, once again, it's subjective.
It is very subjective. What about Fulham then? Because both goals came from set pieces. Is there something that they're doing wrong here?
I don't think they're attacking the ball from corners against. That they failed to get first contact in every corner that come into the box. Too many of their players were flat-footed, taking up positions, start positions, all well and good. You've got to be on the move and being aggressive to attack the ball. João Pedro was, and he put Chelsea in front right on half-time to compound the VAR decision.
Yeah. OK, well, it looked like a terrible day for Fulham. What do you make of their formation? Do you think that the way they started with that back three, does that suit them? Do they have the players that can come out and attack in the right way?
Yeah, I think so. I think they played very well in the first half, and the longer the first half went on, the better and better they got, to be quite honest with you. I think the access between, Bassi, Iwobi and Josh King all working on a straight line access almost in many ways caused Chelsea a big problem. They've got a young man in their ranks that
yeah, quick word on him. I want to hear what you thought of him. I really enjoyed watching him, and I thought he was so unfortunate to not be given that his moment, and I thought he deserved it.
Exactly that. Sometimes when you love the game like we do, to come and watch a young man of 18 years old go and play as well as he did, and you think of the future that might be in front of him here, is a joy to watch, to be quite honest with you. And I thought where he knew to go to receive the ball, how to get turned on the ball, all of those are little tricks of the trade that some players don't pick up the whole career. Yeah. He's got it in his locker already at the age of 18.
Yeah, hopefully more to come from him. But it is Chelsea's day. Of course, they've beaten Fulham in a West London derby here at Stamford Bridge by 2-0, and we're going to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Who are you going for, Stuart?
In all honesty, I would love to be saying the name Josh King to you, but the fact that he come off in the second half and the fact that sort of Chelsea won the game, I've got to go on João Pedro. He scored the goal that changed the game just before half-time. He was the one that looks most likely to score in the Chelsea ranks. He's cleared one off the line as well. That's as good as a goal for his team. And probably over the 90 minutes plus, he would be the one.
OK, that was our Here For It hero man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. It was João Pedro.